Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Barely There podcast. This is 4-Star Chicago Sports, and this is a Week 1 preview. That's right, a Week 1 preview. We're going to break down this Bears-Vikings matchup, give you some inside notes. I'm going to give you my thoughts, and I'm sure the boys will as well on what they think will happen on the lakefront under the lights on Monday. We'll take a quick trip around the league. We'll have some fun with y'all. Drop your comments in. Let's fire it up. Let's go, because I'm pretty excited. Bear down.
Windy City banners rocking 4 stars aligned. Dynasty dreams rise, Bulls in their prime. Cubs curse shattered, the victory divine. Fields be running, clock ticking on my timeline. Shot-town heroes, legends never fade. Black Hawks flying, cutting ice with the blade. White Sox diamonds, the South Side parade. 4 stars shine bright, legacies they made. Mike with the crown, air rain, no dispute. Sweetness in the backfield, Walter in pursuit. Bear down Sunday's midfield, battles cute. Chicago's.
Hello again, everybody. It's finally here. It's like, what, 5 days away now? 4 days away? What do we got? We got football to get us.
We'll be watching football tomorrow, man.
Yeah, we'll be watching football every day. Every day.
Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, dude, this is fantastic for people who don't like college football. The slate's not as good in week 2 as it was in week 1, but I get Kansas versus Missouri, the border war at 2:30 on ESPN2. So that will take up my Saturday afternoon, that's for sure. Let's dust those Tigers. And I'm not really happy with Luther Burden saying, fuck KU in that camera. Don't be doing that shit, man.
He's just protecting his school. He's sticking up for his alma mater.
Oh, he is. He's Missouri strong. He's Missouri strong. I learned that in that little thing they did. For the preseason game against Kansas City. It was a nice little piece, but I hated the Missouri part. How is everybody doing today, man?
I'm doing good, dude. I think I maybe figured out some of my problems playing darts a little bit late halfway through the games, but I think I got it figured out. And it's funny because I think Kyle, the non-dart player, was calling it out when we were doing our draft on Sunday. I just kept my feet flat, and I literally went up like three points.
That's awesome.
What's up, Kyle?
So that's awesome, man. It's good. That's badass.
Yeah, Jay turned it around. He shocked us all on yesterday. But it was very, very fun to have Jason contribute in a very, very good way.
More regularly than like once or twice a night. I had like 3 or 4 games back to back that. I mean, it was literally night and day, dude. Just keeping my foot on the ground. It was amazing.
So before we get into this too much, there was obviously practice today. There is no practice tomorrow. There will be an injury report, the first injury report of the 2025 season for the Chicago Bears that will be dropped tomorrow afternoon ahead of game number 1 between the Eagles and the Cowboys on Thursday Night Football. A couple of key notes today. Jaylen Johnson and Kyle Manangai returned to practice. Roschon Johnson, Josh Blackwell did not, and the part
TJ Edwards also did not.
I was just about to get to that. The part I want to dissect with you guys right now is this TJ Edwards absence, because this is pretty significant for a lot of reasons. And also, I do believe I've heard from Brad Biggs and a couple of other guys that with the absence of Roschon Johnson, it looks like Britton Brown will be activated from the practice squad up to the original roster. So I wanted to start off with this TJ Edwards thing, because this is a huge issue for me, because we know that Sewell is not good in coverage. We don't really know what Hippolyte is. So this takes me to probably for the first game of the season, maybe not seeing Kyler Gordon off the field very much, kind of rely on a heavier base look versus Kevin O'Connell, because we know Kevin O'Connell is savvy enough to recognize this. He's going to test Hippolyte in space, especially on early downs. Now, with TJ Edwards out, it could be turned into a little bit of a cat and mouse game Allen has to be really disciplined in his personnel here and kind of get some packages and avoid getting baited into matchups that leave a Hippolyte or Sewell in coverage up the middle with Hawkinson or running back out of the backfield, even Justin Jefferson over the middle. Boys, what are your thoughts? Kyle, let's start with you. What are your thoughts about this TJ Edwards thing? Because I'm a little worried about it. I'm not going to lie. It's a new twist in this story of week 1.
Well, first, let's say what's up to Dustin, Brandon, Erica, Squeegee. We appreciate you guys joining the show. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. Yeah, I mean, Sean's certainly not good news. I mean, if you had to pick 4 or 5 players off the Bears defense who you do not want to see on the out injured list, then TJ Edwards would make that list for me personally. I think he's the best linebacker on the Chicago Bears, and I think he's very important for this team. He's led the team in tackles, 3 out of the 4 seasons he's been here, or something like that. He's severely underrated in terms of the NFL linebacker. But I mean, like we've talked about this before, guys. We talked about it. We were talking about Jaylen Johnson. We were talking about Roshan Johnson, Kyle Monangai. The Bears, if you're going to be a good team in the NFL, you got to have that next man up mentality, and you're going to have injuries all season. You have to find a way to fill these holes. We're about to see how good the Bears' depth is. The only thing that stinks is we also talked about all off season how the thinnest room in Chicago Bears was the linebacker room. Now, they liked Ruben Hippolyte enough to draft him, so hopefully they can kind of use a combo of Hippolyte and Sewell to fill the role of TJ Edwards. You'd like to see Hippolyte coverage and Sewell obviously get after the run game and after the quarterback. But yeah, Sean, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how they fill that hole. Is he officially out?
I don't know if he is or isn't, to be honest with you. They just said he didn't practice. So we'll find out, like I said, on that injury report on Thursday. But me personally, if we were playing a more pass-heavy team, I would be a little bit more concerned. I think it's a good sign that we're going to have both of our corners, both of our starting safeties. You know, you could run more nickel, like Sean is saying, if there's more pass coverage. But I just don't think J.J. McCarthy is going to be throwing a whole lot. And I think if you're Kevin O'Connell and you're like, yeah, kid, I want you to go out there and throw the ball 40 times, they're 100% going to lose this game. It's probably going to be a more run-heavy game on both sides of the ball, to be perfectly honest with you. So hopefully it won't have as big of an impact on us. But, yeah, I mean, we're really going to find out what, Hippolyte and Sewell are all about, in real live game action against, starters. It's a very curious, interesting thing to watch, Sean. I didn't really think about it that way, but I did see that news. So we'll see what happens. I mean, it's hard to tell. J.J. McCarthy threw like 6 passes or 7 passes in the preseason. That's it. And that was only in 1 game. So I don't really know if they're going to try to get him to pass short game, which is really going to be middle linebacker and your 2 side linebackers. So it could hurt us or it may not make a difference. I know that doesn't help, but I don't know what to expect. It's week 1.
Yeah, if Gordon, I do like the fact that Gordon could be out there a little bit more, playing a true nickel, kind of a Sam hybrid role, will be the best bet, and maybe rotating out of base using a third safety to cover the middle zones like Elijah Hicks throughout this game, especially if KOC is smart enough, and I do believe he is, to try and test out the Bears up the middle, which was already a concern for me going into the middle or going into the season without an injury to TJ Edwards, was coverage over the middle. So this is going to be very interesting, especially, some of that exposure on second mediums, third and shorts. KOC can spread it out and throw it a little bit and catch the Bears off guard. I don't know. I think it's an interesting cat and mouse game for me. I'm a little nervous about this a lot. I shouldn't say that. Sounded stupid as hell. I'm really nervous about this a lot more than I was a week ago when I thought they were just kind of resting TJ Edwards after he got injured on the field. But I might, if he comes out with that doubtful designation tomorrow, it's going to change my score a little bit. I don't know about the outcome of this game. Does it change you? Does it change your guys?
What's up, Scottish Bear? What's up, John S? AC Adam, thanks for joining the show. Lindsay is in the house. We appreciate you guys. Once again, please hit that like button if you haven't already. Yeah, I mean, Sean, I don't think it's going to change my score prediction. I do agree with Jason. I think the smartest thing for Minnesota to do in the first few weeks of the season is to keep the ball out of J.J. McCarthy's hands as much as possible. Now, if they try cramming the ball down the Bears' throats and the Bears stand up and stop them, at some point he's going to have to throw the ball, and I think that's best case scenario for the Bears. But yeah, I mean, you're definitely going to feel if TJ Edwards misses his game, you're going to feel that in some way, shape, or form. He is the Bears' best linebacker, and that you can't.
It's at least 10 or 15 tackles. I mean,
yeah, that's one of the most important positions of football, if not the most important position on the defense outside of defensive end. I mean, there's been rumors that he's going to be the Mike linebacker this year, that he's stepping into a new role, that Dennis Allen was going to use more of him than he's been used here in years past. Not a good start for the Bears in terms of injuries, but like I said, guys, you can't play this game where we hang our heads and are woe is me. Everybody in the NFL is dealing with injuries. The Minnesota Vikings are going to be out with a few of their best players, and they have a couple that are more that are questionable, like Christian Darrisaw. I mean, they're gonna have to find a way to overcome these injuries. I know people are like, "Oh, Adam Thielen's going to be good in Minnesota," and I agree with that, but they signed him 2 weeks ago. I mean, I don't know how much familiarity he has with JJ McCarthy. I mean, it's not like the guy he could probably pick up any scheme in the NFL in a matter of days because he's
he knows the route tree, but does he know the playbook?
Yeah. He's not Jordan Addison. I can tell you that he's certainly not Jordan Addison, and that's a huge loss for the Vikings against the Bears because I don't know if you guys remember that or not, but last year, Mr. Jordan Addison had quite the game against the Chicago.
I think he had like
Bears.
a $187 or a $197.
Yeah, 3 touchdowns, didn't he?
Yeah.
He had 12 catches for 180 yards and 3 touchdowns or something like that. It was an astronomical game. And this time, if the Bears can find a way to keep the ball to Justin Jefferson's hands, they just don't. I mean, even if they do go to Adam Thielen, he's not as dangerous. He's just not as dangerous a player as Jordan Addison. But you guys, I expect this game to have a lot of defense. I think it's going to be a very slow-moving game. Very slow-moving.
And guys, or Scottish Bear, Gordon was at practice today. He was out there, and I was just commenting a little bit on how I think a true nickel Sam hybrid role might be something that the Bears are considering to make up for the loss of one TJ Edwards, if it does truly turn into a loss. But not practicing today, he still has 2 chances to practice ahead of the game, or 3 actually. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So hopefully.
Hey, Sean, I was looking at the stats earlier. Justin Jefferson is a stud, and we're going to get into starts and sits, I guess, later. But he hasn't had a 100-yard receiving game against the Bears since 22. So we could easily shut him down. They may simply just be forced to run the ball against us.
Well,
they don't have no other choice.
We're going to get into that too, because the one thing that worries me about that is a guy like Jaylen Johnson, who I absolutely adore and love as a Chicago Bear. But not being able to practice and then asking him to shadow a Justin Jefferson for an entire game brings up a whole nother set of questions. Nahshon Wright, which I learned listening to a Bear report, and I can't remember where it was today. Nahshon Wright obviously came from Minnesota. He spent last season on their practice squad, and for the entire season shadowed Justin Jefferson. So that's 1 full year of Nahshon Wright growing some familiarity with Justin Jefferson. I don't know if that'll play into the Bears' hands if Jaylen can't play 4 quarters, because if he can't, Justin Jefferson becomes more of a weapon. I don't know where you guys stand with that, but I think, to your point, Jay, one of the reasons he has been shut down against the Bears is because Jaylen Johnson has been guarding him.
They're both dealing with soft tissue issues too. So, I don't really know how effective either one of them is going to, be, but I'm just happy we have both of our safeties, both of our DBs, and our nickel playing. And this is the first time we've seen that in almost a year.
Well, Jaylen Johnson's not confirmed yet. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. And here, I'll ask you guys this question. Since he has not played and got injured ahead of training camp, before training camp ever started, and he has not been able to get on a football field until today, and apparently, listening to the Brad Biggs report, the portion which he was on the field was closed to the media, so they got to see him on but not do any work, so no one really knows what he did. How upset would you guys be if he sat out at least 1 week to make sure that injury is healed completely?
You got to trust the training staff. You hope they're assessing this properly, and maybe they're just protecting their asset. I did read where he said, like, I can play. It's not that I can't play. It's just it's uncomfortable. It's pain, and I don't want to do it. It's not like it's not like Micah Parsons where you can just do an epidural into your groin, So I think I'm thinking he's probably going to play. I think they're just milking every single play they can to keep him healthy, to hopefully, keep that thing moving. They have ways to loosen, things up, anti-inflammatories and other things like that that'll help him. But, if he says he can run and play, I mean, he's been doing other workouts and things like that. He just hasn't really been on the field. So I'm hoping it's all been precautionary. Same thing with TJ Edwards. But you're right, Sean. We're not going to know until really tomorrow. And maybe not until Monday at, 7:00.
Yeah, real quick, John, hope all is well, man. Speedy recovery. I know you had that surgery a couple weeks ago. I hope everything's getting better for you, man. Yeah. The Jaylen Johnson one would affect my score, guys. That'd be brutal. I mean, and Sean, if you're saying it's for the betterment of the season and they're trying to make sure he's okay before they get him out there, I would totally agree with the move and I understand it, but that would definitely change my score prediction because I don't think there's another corner on the Chicago Bears who could shut down Justin Jefferson. And even when you talk about Jaylen Johnson shutting down Justin Jefferson, I think we all still expect Justin Jefferson to get a couple catches here and there and make an impact on this game, even against one of the best corners in football.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen Jaylen Johnson struggle with guys like Nico Collins in the past. It happens. I mean, they're the best of the best of the best. It's very tough.
They're also very big guys.
I mean, I can make an argument, you guys, that Jaylen Johnson is the best Chicago Bear, certainly the best defensive player on the Chicago Bears. That would be a massive, massive loss. I think he's one of those guys who's kind of like the cornerstone of the defense. The defense runs through him. If he can shut down that number one receiver, the Bears could do a lot more different things. They can be more flexible. If he's not there, you're talking about a completely different defense. It's like how we talk about Trent Williams not being on the Niners offensive line. I think you could make an argument that Jaylen Johnson is that guy for the Bears defense. If he's not out there week one against the Vikings, it's going to be a much tougher game than it would be with him. I can tell you that.
I do think, and I personally do think, I love this because we've talked about this in the past, Kyle, at end of the season last year, and a little bit, I think a couple Mondays ago, about how good KOC is as a coach. And as we're talking about, the Bears are going to start this, or the Vikings are going to come out and maybe not pass so much. I don't disagree with that at all. I think that KOC is going to look at what Jim Harbaugh did with JJ McCarthy, and he's going to form his game plan to make this very comfortable for him, get him set up when easy passes. And I hate to say this, guys. I know that we've all been saying that he's not a good quarterback. JJ McCarthy was able to step up in some pretty big games in college against some pretty good football teams and make some pretty big throws for the University of Michigan. So to say he's not completely capable to get the ball to TJ Hawkinson, to get the ball into the hands of Justin Jefferson, or even dump it off to Aaron Jones, who loves to torch the Chicago Bears, to me would just be bad reporting, because I think that this is a good possibility, especially with KOC being able to get that game plan around something that's very comfortable for his young quarterback. And I think it would be a mistake if we all didn't think that's exactly what this guy's doing this week. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on that.
Yeah, I mean, the jury's not out on JJ McCarthy. Listen, I've said it 1,000 times. He was my least favorite quarterback in that class. That doesn't mean that I think that JJ McCarthy is not going to be a successful quarterback in the NFL. Right. And I'm honestly successful, guys. I'm not saying he has to be Patrick Mahomes, but I believe with Kevin, under the tutelage of Kevin O'Connell and on that roster, I think it's almost anybody who's capable of playing in the NFL can move the ball from Minnesota Vikings. It's one of the best rosters in all of football if you look at them on paper. So I mean, it's not gonna, it's these Bears fans who are like, oh, we're playing a rookie quarterback in his first game ever, we're just going to crush him and destroy him. Like, I'd be very careful. Like, but here's the difference, Sean, is in years past, I feel like we've had coaches who are playing checkers while everybody else is playing chess. I expect Dennis Allen to make adjustments in game, quarter to quarter, not wait till halftime. Let's go quarter to quarter. So, I mean, this, if they feel like JJ McCarthy's getting away with something, or the Vikings have exploited something that the Bears aren't doing well, I think Dennis Allen will make those adjustments, and then you're going to see how JJ McCarthy adjusts to the Bears defense, making adjustments. I mean, it's going to be a game of chess, but at the end of the day, I just think that in his first start ever in the NFL, you expect growing pains, right? I mean, we all expect growing pains. That doesn't mean that JJ McCarthy's not going to be a good quarterback, but his week one, first time ever playing in the NFL, going up against a Dennis Allen defense who throws a lot of different looks at you, or gives you the same look, and then when the ball is snapped to something completely different every time. Yeah. And they're going to get after JJ McCarthy. They're going to try. I mean, they have a very good offensive line, but the Bears are going to try to throw as many blitzes at him as they possibly can. They're going to try to make him uncomfortable. It's just not a good matchup for JJ McCarthy. This is a very tough week one test for him. Remember, guys, before the massive injuries for the Bears last season, they were top 20 or 15 in every statistical category in the NFL in terms of defense. So if they start off like they did the way they started off last year, that's a tough matchup for JJ McCarthy. And you're playing in Chicago on Monday night. You guys, how many times we talked about if you're looking at two games who are very closely matched and you don't know which way to go, same as the Vegas odds makers, you just go with the home team, right? Because they just have that advantage, and there is a such thing as home field advantage. It exists.
I agree.
The crowd noise, the momentum. You have 100,000 fans cheering you on when you make a good play. It's going to be a tough environment for JJ McCarthy to play in, but like I said, Kevin O'Connell, I believe, guys, right now, based off of what he's done since he's been in Minnesota. Kirk Cousins wasn't that good before he got to Minnesota. He looked a lot better. Sam Darnold was atrocious before he got to Minnesota. He looked like a Pro Bowler. I think JJ McCarthy is going to have success in Minnesota. I just hope it's not week 1 against the Chicago Bears.
and for me, the matchup, and it is going to come down to Dennis Allen's play calling. But I think he calls good defense, so I'm not really too worried about that. I think the key is our defensive interior versus that offensive line interior. They're starting a rookie guard. Their 2 tackles are pretty good. Who is it? Christian Darrisaw and
but Christian Darrisaw did not practice today.
Right. So, that might help Montez Sweat, but I think if our interior line can terrorize, they got a center that just came in, right? They just brought in that Pro Bowl center who's like, mid-level, mid as the kids would say nowadays. And then a rookie. So, if we can get pressure up the middle, I think that's going to halt that running game and maybe get inside that young quarterback's head. It's one thing when you don't see a guy coming from your edge, but when you see the guy rumbling right at you through the middle, like what's that one soundbite they used to play on The Score where Geno Smith sees Aaron Donald coming in and goes, "Oh my God," that's what you want this young kid to say. You want him to have no choice not to know where to throw the ball. And if we have sticky coverage with our DBs and safeties, maybe Kyler Gordon's out there running a corner blitz, which he is very, very good at. Then I think we could have really, really good chance to make this not a close game. But if they can establish the run, which is a big fear of mine because the Bears, I know Grady Jarrett hasn't, played the preseason or whatever, but we've been pretty porous with the starters and with the backups against the run. And that is not good to me. I know this is a, more of a cover 2 type defense and it's, bend, don't break, but man, you've got a really good play caller opposite you. He knows how to move the ball down the field. And if he's moving the ball down the field, they're going to wind up scoring in the red zone. So,
you got to speed up the process.
You need an interior line to show up on Monday.
You got to speed up the processing. You cannot let him stand in that pocket and get comfortable because listen, guys, like I said, I know Burning Scrolls. I agree with you. This guy he's not had a lot of playing experience in his career, but listen, we saw Mitch Trubisky who played 12 college games, throw 6 touchdowns against the Buccaneers because he was just sitting in that pocket, eating a sandwich. Like you have to speed up the processing for JJ McCarthy. You have to create pressure. You have to make him uncomfortable. Get him out of the pocket. Yeah, get him running around back there. And I'm telling you guys right now, if he's just standing in that pocket and they're not applying any pressure, guys like Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson, Adam Thielen, these guys are going to get open eventually. They're some of the best in the NFL at their position. The Bears have to find a way to make JJ McCarthy uncomfortable. And it doesn't have to be pressure up the middle. It doesn't have to be pressure from Montez Sweat. I don't care if it's from Kyler Gordon. I don't care if it's from Tremaine Edmonds. Be creative with your blitz packages and find a way to get a guy back there and make him uncomfortable. If you can hit JJ once early in this game, like on the first drive, you get back there and lay him out. I think that will set the tone for the rest of the game, especially playing in Chicago. But like you said, Jason, Sean, I think we can all agree. We don't really know what to expect from the Bears pass rush. I don't know.
I love the chat here and everyone's JJ McHandoff and all this other stuff. I just say this, guys. I'm with Kyle. I think he was the worst quarterback drafted. I don't know what he's going to be. He did not have a lot of pass attempts in college, but the pass attempts that he did make were great pass attempts, great completions in big moments, in big spots. And if the Bears, who were grinded on the ground by Aaron Jones last year, now they're sprinkling in Jordan Mason into that mix. If the Bears can't get off the ground or stop the run game, this could pose a problem where you get some quick play action, some quick dink and dunks to either JJ or to Jones and set these guys up for splash plays, especially not having a guy like TJ Edwards out there. So there are some weaknesses, and I'm going to be honest. KOC is going to come into this game, and he's going to test the Bears early. He's going to find a way to try and exploit some of these weaknesses, especially not having TJ Edwards in this ball game. Hopefully, McCarthy is exactly what he thinks he is. We think he is. He's not very good. But don't underestimate him. That's all I'm saying. Don't underestimate Kevin O'Connell. That's all I'm saying.
And real quick, Brennan, you're basically making my point. Brennan says Mitch Trubisky lost his first game as a rookie to the Vikings. He threw 120 yards. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Mitch Trubisky sucked, and he still threw 6 touchdowns against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as I'm saying. Any quarterback who makes it to the NFL, if you give him 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds to throw the ball, he's going to beat you. You have to rush the quarterback. We know that. The NFL there's 2 ways to win football games. Rush the quarterback and give your quarterback clean pocket, or run the ball and stop the run. Those are your options. And Sean, like you just said it. Listen, JJ McCarthy might be the worst quarterback in that draft, but you guys, I mean, when we sit here and we're talking about how many times have we said these words right here? If that's the decision Ben Johnson makes, I agree with that because I trust Ben Johnson. You guys, you think there's a Vikings fan in the world that doesn't like Kevin O'Connell? Well, Kevin O'Connell chose JJ McCarthy. He chose him. That's the quarterback he wanted. So
yeah, it's true.
If that's the
case,
you
can't make every decision the right one, though. Eventually, you're going to make the wrong decision.
Sure, but Jason, when they signed Sam Darnold last year, we get them at 5 wins.
Yeah. And they went 14
and then Kevin O'Connell's like, watch what I can do with Sam Darnold. Watch this.
Sam Darnold was the number 1 overall pick, though. No, I mean the guy obviously
but he hasn't played like it.
Experience.
What's McCarthy?
JJ McCarthy's he's like what?
10,
9? Yeah, he was
top
9 or 12 or something like that.
Yeah, he might have been 12. Hey, and Broski Bear, really quick. It's not official that TJ Edwards is out, but he hasn't practiced in over a week. He sat out of practice today. Obviously, we won't know much until this injury report comes out tomorrow, and hopefully it doesn't come out and say doubtful. But not being on the practice field now, I think it's like 10 days he hasn't been able to practice, doesn't bode very well. And much like Jaylen Johnson, I'd rather him sit out and not re-aggravate it and then have to sit out a month or 6 weeks because he just didn't sit out.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So, I mean, you should be making decisions based off what's best for the future of the team, not what's best for now. And listen, I know the Bears want to win this week 1 game more than anything in the world, but if the doctors come out, the team doctors come out and are like, you guys playing Jaylen Johnson there because there's some serious risk to aggravate this injury, make it a lot worse, then it's not even a question. You say, Jaylen, you're sitting, you're not playing.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean,
he's too valuable to the team. Yeah.
Yeah, Brennan, I understand what you're saying. It has nothing to do with it. The point of the matter is Mitch Trubisky sucked. He wasn't a good quarterback, right? I think, do we all agree?
Still is not a good quarterback.
Average to below average quarterback in the NFL. Yeah. But don't forget Mitch Trubisky. Every quarterback in the NFL, average to below average, terrible quarterbacks, when given enough time in the pocket, they start to look a lot better. They start to look like really good quarterbacks. The best quarterbacks in the NFL are quarterbacks who can make quick decisions under pressure. And like Tom Brady, like you're almost there every time. You're almost there. You almost sack him and he gets the ball out of his hand immediately. Mitch Trubisky wasn't that guy. He needed 5, 6 seconds in the pocket to look like a good quarterback. But whenever he got those 5, 6 seconds in the pocket, he looked like a pretty damn good quarterback. They all do.
And Broski on that, I don't know what they're planning to do. My suggestion was to extend Kyler Gordon out a little more, kind of a hybrid role. I don't know. They haven't really stated what their plan is. I mean, again, they haven't. Just the fact that he didn't practice today, the Bears are no practice tomorrow, so he doesn't obviously have to practice when there's no practice. So I guess we'll have to wait to Friday to see if TJ Edwards can get on the field. I think if he were to practice Friday and Saturday, he'd probably obviously play Monday. That remains to be seen. But if you're following, Dan Wiederer's report today, Brad Biggs' report today, and some of these other big guys that are at Halas Hall, it does not look good for TJ Edwards at the moment. And obviously, they don't have any final words either because the Bears aren't telling, hey, Brad Biggs, he's not going to play. I mean, that would be illegal.
What was the injury? I know he went out and it was a pretty decent hit or whatever, but I don't even remember what was it. It wasn't like a knee or anything, was it?
I don't know. I don't know that I ever saw what the injury was, but we're going to find out tomorrow. We'll find out tomorrow when that injury report comes out. So,
I mean, it's the next one up is it's DeMarco Jackson or Amen. We've agreed not to say his last name.
Isn't Amen hurt?
You guys, all it says is Edwards' lower body is currently dealing with a soft tissue injury.
Yeah. They don't have to tell you yet.
Network reports.
They don't have to tell you till tomorrow.
I'm guessing it's a hamstring or a groin. It's something along those lines. Hamstring.
I'd rather it be that than like an ACL, which is also soft tissue, in the lower extremities. But it's like a hockey report right now. What does he got? Lower body.
And I'll be perfectly honest with you, Broski Bear. It doesn't
the way the
NFL
is
really good to say that Ruben Hippolyte would be starting in under the lights at Soldier Fields in game 1 as a rookie. That doesn't make me feel fuzzy inside. I'm not going to lie.
Dustin put in the comments here, not that it means anything, guys, but he said, for what it's worth, Ruben Hippolyte is a beast in Madden. Yeah, I mean, what's his speed grade? 100?
Yeah, Amen is on IR. But the defense, hopefully the sum of the parts. Montez Sweat has a good game. You get some pressure up the middle from Jarrett and Dexter, and maybe get something production out of Deo, and the front 7 can help out their banged up middle linebackers. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. This TJ Edward thing has really thrown a monkey wrench in my game plan, because I think we're going to realize that how big of a piece that is and how much we miss him under the lights on Monday night. If he does, in fact, not play.
What's up, Vizzo Joe?
What's up, Vizzo? I think we're going to go to this other half. Last year, flip sides to the offensive side of the ball, unless you guys want to talk anything more about the defense.
No.
Well, you guys, I mean, at the end of the day, if I had to sum it up, for the Bears defense to have a successful game Monday night, week 1 against the Vikings, you have to make JJ McCarthy uncomfortable. I think it's that simple. I really do. I mean, that's like Burns been saying, this guy has very little playing experience. That's with any rookie quarterback. If you just make him uncomfortable, the more uncomfortable he is, the more you throw off the offense's timing, the more viable he is to make mistakes. And I think if the Bears can get in that backfield more often than not, JJ McCarthy is going to give the Chicago Bears the ball a couple times. It's just it's like I said, I'm not saying JJ McCarthy is a bad quarterback. I don't know. I haven't watched him play in the NFL yet. But he's young and he's prone to make mistakes. Every young quarterback has growing pains. Hopefully,
it's just a different game than the college game.
And you know what? I don't want to be this guy, so I don't really want to say he's going to be bad yet. I just want to get out there and hope that he's going to be bad. I know the college thing didn't look well. The game, I think it was against Penn State, where he only attempted 7 passes. They ran the ball into the ground. And again, the Bears have had a problem stopping the run. They had a problem in the preseason. Granted, all their starters weren't out there. But let's not forget, behind that Niners line, Jordan Mason averaged over 5 yards a carry. Aaron Jones is historically a Bears killer. So there's some things cause for concern here until the Bears, show that they can stop the run. I think we should be really concerned about this run defense against these 2 running backs. It's just my opinion. I don't know. Do you guys feel the same about Jones and Mason against the Bears front 7?
I'm going to be honest with you, Sean. I think this might be a reoccurring theme all season long, is our ability to run the ball and our ability to stop the run. Because I don't know how good we're going to be, especially the first half of the season. And that's going to be our identity, is going to have to stop the run and run the ball well. So we're going to probably keep repeating this over and over each week, but that doesn't make it any less true. I mean, we have to stop the run because our secondary is good. The only way teams are really going to be able to beat us is to eat up clock, because we can move the ball down the field now. They're going to have to eat up the clock, and they're going to have to stop us running the ball, because that's where everything that we're going to do on offense starts from, that play action offense that Ben loves to run so much.
Yeah.
We got to do it.
You guys, I mean, I think people are reading a little bit too much in the preseason, and I'm not sitting here. I don't want to sound like a biased Bears fan, but at the beginning of the season last year with Andrew Billings on the field, the Bears were actually pretty decent at stopping the run. Now, listen, I'm not saying there's a difference between being leaky and being soft. Like when you're soft, the team will run the ball up the middle every single down for 5-6 yards of carry, right? You just can't. There's just no push from the defensive line. But leaky is when they have 3 carries of 1 or 2 yards, and then their 4th carry goes for 10 or 15. Like that, I think the Bears are more in the latter than the prior. I think the Bears, they were pretty good against the run in the beginning of the season last year with Billings healthy. And now you've added Grady Jarrett, who we have not seen on the field yet this season.
Right.
So I think they are probably better than people are giving them credit for. But yeah, I mean, as the Bears have the best defensive line of football? No, absolutely not. And there's definitely some work to do on that defensive line. I agree with you. I think the Vikings
a middle linebacker helps stop your run game too.
Yeah. The Vikings' plan should be to run the ball on the Bears. But if JJ McCarthy can't prove early that he can make downfield throws, NFL throws, they're going to start stacking the box, and they're going to start to make the 100%. Vikings and JJ McCarthy win this game. And then that's what we talked about earlier, guys. Like, how healthy is Jaylen Johnson? How can Justin Jefferson? Is he open constantly? Is he having a tough day against Jaylen? Like, you're going to see these in-game changes. Like, if the Vikings are trying to run the ball, and the Bears are just stacking 8 men in the box, and the Vikings are like, hey guys, we have to throw it. I mean, they're not going to let us run the ball. We have to throw it. Then the Vikings have to adjust, and the Bears will have to adjust to that. And it's going to be a chess match. And that's the good thing about having smart coaches like Dennis Allen and Ben Johnson. I trust them to make the correct adjustments in game. And you guys, I'm sorry, I know that Vegas Lines has the Vikings as favorites, but for a guy who's never taken a snap in the NFL and JJ McCarthy, to me that's a little crazy. I just don't understand that. I know they're doing it based off of the Vikings roster, but the quarterback is the most important thing on the team. And if JJ McCarthy comes out here and drops an egg, there's a chance the Bears beat the shit out of these guys. So I think just by the fact that a team with a new head coach and against a team with a new quarterback, it should be an even line, and the Bears should get the favoritism because they're at home. I think the Bears should be like 1.5 point favorites, but we'll see what happens on Monday.
Right now, I think, right?
1.5 point underdogs. Yep. And just an early bet, guys. I parlayed the Bears plus 105 and the Lions plus 125.
I did the same thing, dude.
Inside, baby.
Well, you know what I don't understand, Sean? And we can talk about this in a little bit, but I understand that Micah Parsons makes the Packers better. I get it. I agree with it. Like, they got better.
Sure.
But here's the thing that I don't understand. If there's one team in the NFL I would not pick to the Packers to beat because they got Micah Parsons, it's the team that has perfected the art of running the ball down the middle. And they just lost their best run stopper and added a defensive end. Nobody likes running the ball more than the Detroit Lions. Nobody. That team runs them between them and the Ravens. They can run the ball down your throat all day, every day. And they have 2 very capable backs. I'm more curious to see how they do without their best run stopper against the Detroit Lions and how their defense is with a new defensive end. Because if I'm the Lions, I'm like, hey man, Kenny Clark's gone. We were pretty successful running the ball against Green Bay last year. Let's just do it again. Like,
open up giant holes and let Montgomery and Gibbs run right.
And if the Packers have to adjust and stack 8 men in the box, then you have Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, and Jamison Williams downfield with 8 men in the box. It was just a very strange.
It is
to make just automatically just make the Packers.
They weren't ready for that. It was a dumb move by Green Bay.
Weird to me.
You want to know what's funny too? Is CBS today, they came out with their picks for other divisions, the Super Bowl winners, and all this other crap. I think they had 10 people on their panel. I think 9 out of 10 picked the Packers to win the NFC North over the Detroit Lions. And again, I just don't see it. The Lions right now, I believe, are plus 180, almost 2-1 underdogs to win the division. That sounds like $100 bet to me. That's all I gotta say.
Their staff is still the same. I know their coaching staff is different, but their personnel is still the same. They're not going to just suck all of a sudden. They still have.
There's too much talent on that team. The Lions could make Shane Waldron look good.
Yeah, I find it very weird, and that's why when I saw that I jumped on it. I think the Packers or the Lions. I think the Lions have either won 2 or 3 straight in Green Bay.
Green Bay went 1-5 in the division, and they were a blocked field goal away from not winning at all in the division.
Sean, you want to address this comment because I think you got a stat for that one there. Ben Johnson against the Vikings.
Yeah, I'm actually going to get into that right now. Ben Johnson as an OC versus Flores' defense, albeit with Detroit's roster, is 5-1 with averaging 30 points per game. Our quarterback last year against the Minnesota Vikings was 50 for 78, 64% completion percentage, 531 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. And we can't forget about week 12 last year when he led that comeback in the second half. He tossed 340 yards against Minnesota and 2 passing touchdowns. But I did clip something today, thanks to the help of Barroom Bears as well. Very interesting, and I wanted you guys to hear this, and I want to chew on this bone for a minute.
I think that's why the preparation, what it looks like on the field, is so important. I think we'll have a real good feel as a coaching staff what we're going to get out of Caleb on Monday night with how he approaches the next few days, and it's going to help dictate how I call the game as well. how much we put the ball on really in his hands and on his shoulders to carry us through, or it's everybody on this offense is going to have to carry the load at some point here this game. You talked about all the one-on-ones up front with our O-line, but I think our backs got to hold up in protection. Our tight ends got to be involved. Our receivers have to be physical. I mean, it's everybody here. So we'll see over the course of the week what that looks like. But, I think since I became a coach, that's really I go in early in the week, and, man, I have a lot of concerns about what it's going to look like on game day, and, man, I don't know if this is going to work, blah, blah, blah. But by the time we get to the end of the week, I usually have a high degree of confidence in our guys because of how they've gone about their business, and I already feel that right now with this crew. I think we had a great meeting this morning. We had a really good walkthrough just a little while ago, and now we'll put it on the field here today.
That was really, really interesting to say, hey, we're coming into this week. We don't know what we're going to do exactly yet. We're going to watch Caleb over the next 3 days, and we're going to make some determinations. And in-game.
That's smart. That's exactly what you should be doing. And what's up, man?
I think he has an idea what he's going to do. It's coach speak a little bit. Well, here's my game plan against them. I'm going to tell them 3 days ahead so Minnesota can prepare for it.
I think what he was saying is reiterating exactly what he has said since this began.
Yeah.
It's going to be a time process. It's going to be a long-term process.
What's up, Phil?
Let's get to the bye week and see where we are there. And we'll let the play dictate what we do with Caleb Williams, with his on the field play dictate what we do with him. I don't know. That's kind of what I took away from that. I don't know what you guys.
I think what he was referring to in that little synopsis, because he was talking about practice right before that, is he's going to see how Caleb looks in practice, what he's able to accomplish, what plays he's running successfully, which plays he's having trouble with, and they're going to take those plays or that part of the playbook, how it matches up against the Minnesota Vikings defense and Brian Flores and the way they call their defense. And he's going to make the game plan based off of those two things combined. And I think it's very smart because there's probably a very good chance, guys, that Caleb is not comfortable doing everything in this offense just yet, which is expected, right? I'm not making fun of Caleb Williams. Right. It's tough to learn an NFL offense in 3 months. They're probably not going to open up the entire playbook, and they're going to get more and more creative as the season goes on. But I expect this kind of look like the Vikings offense, guys. Like I would, if I'm Ben Johnson, I'm keeping this very simple for Caleb Williams. Try to get the ball in your playmakers' hands in open space and let them do the work. I don't think you want, like Jason said earlier, if JJ McCarthy throws the ball 45 times this game, they're going to lose. The same can be said for Caleb Williams. If Caleb Williams comes out here and throws the ball 50 times, that's not a good look for the Chicago Bears. And usually that means you're playing from behind. But
he should be able to handle it better, though.
And you guys, I know you guys heard him talk about the dirty yards. The Bears, even if they get 2 or 3 yards of carry running the ball, you cannot abandon the run. You can't. You cannot abandon the run. And Jason said it best. You have to have a semi-successful run game to run RPOs, to run play action. You have to. And the more of that stuff you can run, the easier it becomes for Caleb Williams. I expect the Bears to get the ball out of Caleb Williams' hands as fast as they possibly can. This is one of the best defensive lines I've seen in the NFL in a very long time, if all goes well and there's no injuries. I expect it to give him a couple layups early, screen passes, slant routes, and the more confident he becomes and the more you see what Minnesota is giving you or how aggressive they're playing on the wide receivers, the corners, then he'll determine how much he's going to pass or run. But I will say this, guys. The Vikings didn't do much in their secondary in the offseason, and they gave up the 4th most passing yards in the NFL last year. So if the Bears, through the first half, continue to try to run the ball and get stuffed, try to run the ball and get stuffed, try to run the ball and get stuffed, at some point, Caleb, just like he did last year against Minnesota and Chicago, is probably going to have to win the game.
Love you, Ron.
And that's okay because he's proven he can do that. But at some point, this may come down to if the Bears can't successfully run the ball, he's probably going to have to win the game for them. I have more faith in Caleb winning a game for the Bears than I do in JJ McCarthy winning a game for the Vikings. So just keep it close. And with this new offensive line, the interior of this offensive line, as good as that Vikings defensive line is, you should expect 3-4 yards a carry, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and that's not stellar. That's probably below league average,
for
right?
sure. And I think Kyle Mononga is going to play a very important role in this game. If he plays this Monday night, I think those tough yards are going to have to come from Kyle Mononga, because I'm not stuffing DeAndre Swift in between the guard and the center 20 times a game. So sooner or later, somebody else has to step up.
I can tell you what, T actually made a comment that was pretty funny, but he said, I'm throwing a flag. You can't use Ben's stats with our players. And ours, he's right. But I will tell you this, though, T.
What's up, James?
He clearly understands a Brian Flores defense, and he can obviously call the correct play. Now, you are correct. We still have to execute on that play, but we can, I think, feel confident that the correct play is going to be called. So that I have confidence.
Do they execute it?
Yeah, can they execute it? I don't know.
That's the key.
Yeah.
And Jebediah put here, he agrees with you again. We've been fooled by an offensive guru before. Ben Johnson feels different, though. If you're a Detroit fan, I bet you know that. And Jebediah and the rest of the chat, check out tomorrow, 4starchicagosports.com. I will be dropping an article that states why it's different this time in Chicago. Talks a little bit about my feelings about Ben Johnson and some of the things of why I feel, and maybe a lot of other Chicago Bears fans feel, it's a little bit different. And it does have to do a little bit with the man under center, but a lot with what's in between the ears of the man patrolling the sidelines for the Chicago Bears now. And I do think it's going to be different this time in Chicago. I know we've all been fooled, and I've blown up on the show a bunch of times about being fooled and the scars and the burn.
We all have PTSD, dude.
Yeah, Kyle. I texted Kyle the other day. I said this is the last couple of days before the Bears start adding stress to my life and shorten my lifespan.
I think, Ben, we all expect growing pains, right? And we've said numerous times on this show that we're not going to judge the Chicago based off the win-loss record. We're going to judge them more on how they're adjusting, how they overcome issues and problems. Or at the end of the day, I think that with Ben Johnson here, I don't know what the ceiling is, and I don't think any of us do between Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams, but I think the floor has been raised, right? Like, could you see a game in which the Bears lose like they did to the Cardinals last year? No. With Ben Johnson as your coach. I just don't see it. And Dennis Allen.
Or the Redskins.
I just don't see it. I just don't see it. Like, and I'm not saying that the Bears are going to win 12 games. I'm just saying, I think the Bears will be competitive in every single game. And the longer the season goes on and the more comfortable these guys all get with each other, and I'm talking about the coaching staff, the roster, everybody, the more sound football they'll play, the more professional they'll look getting in and out of the huddle, cadence, the pre-snap penalties will go down. Like, it's just going to be there's going to be growing. It's going to be a process, guys. They're not going to come out week one and look like the Kansas City Chiefs. It's just not going to happen. And if the Bears had to play the Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens week one, I'm picking them to get their asses whooped. And I'm not talking like 41-10. I'm saying like 34-20, and that should be expected for a team that's literally just are now getting to know each other.
And Kyle, I think you explained it perfectly. I think the floor is better than where the Bears were last year. Now, that doesn't necessarily, like you said, mean 12 wins, but we had 6 or 7 games where we lost by 6 or fewer points. I don't think that's going to happen 6 times this year. If it does, it's going to be, 35-38, where it just, the defense was a little too porous that day or whatever. But it's not going to be because we were calling timeouts wrong. We didn't call the right plays. We didn't do this. I think we're coached better. We just simply have better coaches. Even if you call Eberflus a tie at defense coordinator wise, I think it was too much for him to be an entire, coach an entire team. I think we're just better off. And it goes deeper too than just the coordinators. I think our entire coaching staff is all on the same page. We are all heading in the same direction. We're all developing ourselves. We're all developing each other. We're all doing the same things. They're all rowing the boat at the same pace, right? So
you're not going in circles. Yeah.
Right. So it should result to me if let's say half of those games we win, those 7 games. Let's say we get 3 more wins. The Bears have 5 last year, so that's now 8 wins, which is pretty much around where people are predicting anyways. That's not beyond the realm of possibility. I think it's very possible. And you're right, the floor is just simply better than 5 games. It just is.
Yeah.
What is the ceiling? Who knows?
Then like you just said, Jason, like the fact that I think Caleb and Ben have the same vision and they have the same goals and they have the same expectations for one another. And when they are truly on the same page and that marriage is complete, I could see this offense being one of the most dangerous offenses in the NFL. But here's the thing for Bears fans, just like temper expectations, because I don't expect to see that week one. And I don't judge Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams based off of what you see week one. Like it's going to be, it's like we just planted a seed and we're just waiting for this flower to grow. And the only way you can do that is by getting to know each other and spending more time around each other and just playing live NFL games with each other. And I expect it to be like the Lions season a lot in 22 when Ben Johnson, or 23, I think, I don't, Sean, you correct me if I'm wrong, 22 or 23, where Ben Johnson took over and then they won like the last 8 games. But it took 22. Some time, right? It took some time. Yeah. Like it wasn't like he became the play caller and all of a sudden the Lions were the best team in the NFL. It took time. And then also on top of that, guys, after that first season, Ben Johnson took over as a play caller in Detroit. You saw him make a ton of adjustments to the roster in that offseason because he knew what would work for his scheme and he knew what wouldn't. Like, for instance, trading away DeAndre Swift. You're going to see a lot of that this offseason for the Chicago Bears as well. But yeah, this is a 2 or 3 year process. But I think the Bears are finally, for once, headed in the right direction. And I'm excited about Monday night. And I think it's the first time ever where I don't think we're going to see the Bears 3 and out. I don't think that's possible with the talent on this roster and Ben Johnson. Where in years past,
you're going to see a game plan on the roster for the first 15 plays. The first drive, it's going to be scripted. He knows what needs to be done, and if you can combine that with his Caleb Williams' ability in the 2-minute drive at the end of quarters, at the end of halves, at the end of games, you're right, dude. We could be really, really dangerous. It's just probably not going to be until week 10.
Yeah, and really quick, I just want to clear something up. Everyone's the Bears cleared that space. The Bears need about $6 or $7 million just to operate for the season, and they had $1.5 million in cap space moving into the day. So I don't know.
A lot of it's for the
9.5 now.
Yeah, and again, I don't know if they're going to sign someone, but indications that I've been reading today was that restructure was operating room for the Bears to have.
Yeah, Sean, I read the same thing. And I from what I understand, when they bring somebody up from the practice squad to the active roster, they have to pay them more, right?
They have to pay them.
Yeah, the minimum comes up. So that they said a lot of that money is going to be spent on practice squad.
It's usually like $4.5 million is what a team needs to operate during the year.
Like
about $8 or $9 million.
They're going to have to pay Britton Brown in week 1. It looks like.
Yeah, and another thing that's important about that, guys, and I don't want to get a whole Britton Brown conversation, but you now have one more time after this week. If they do decide to elevate him from the practice squad, you now have one more time to elevate him before you have to make him a member of the 53-man roster. So I hope Roschon Johnson is healing up because I don't want Britton Brown to be a permanent stay on the Bears 53-man roster.
That's another thing we'll find out on this injury report, man. Like I've never been so excited to get an injury report because I want to know what's going on with Rojo and TJ Edwards so freaking bad.
Is it like 11 or 3? What time does it release?
I'm not sure what time. I
don't think there's a requirement. As long as it's before a certain time, like 6 p.m. So I think they can come out with it before that anytime they want, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm looking right now. Injury NFL.
But you're right, Sean. This is like one of the most I'm waiting on bated breath to looking to see who's got an injury. It's the weirdest thing ever.
Well, guys, they said it. Just the excitement around this team alone. I've never felt this before. I'm like, Ben Johnson won't let them fail. He won't let them fail. Even if they don't win every game, he's not going to let this team fail. Like they're going to look like a competent football team. And you guys, I've been watching the Bears religiously since 98, 97. There's only been a few times in my life where I could say that I don't most of the time I expect the Bears to look like shit, like they did with Justin Fields when they were on offense, or Mitch Trubisky. But I just don't think you're going to see that same team. I think the Bears are going to look much, much, much better this season.
I'm with you, Broski.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited, man.
Yeah.
It is a tough match for week 1 for Caleb Williams. That Vikings defense was not what I wanted.
And really quick, the injury report is 4 p.m. Eastern, so there's 3 p.m. our time tomorrow to look for that.
Going to be a lot of people not working at 2:59.
Yeah, it for the people. I agree. There's a lot of instant gratification, and there's going to be a lot of people that hit Twitter and hit X if Caleb Williams is 16 for 34 for a $189 and an interception and a touchdown. It's going to be brutal on X tomorrow, but that still doesn't negate the fact that he could.
Sean, Caleb Williams could be 27 for 30 for 245 yards and 3 touchdowns, and people are still going to shit all over him on Twitter.
That's true.
Or on Instagram. That's not even a question in my mind. The guy can do nothing right. And I don't understand it because it's like the Bears gave so many excuses to Justin Fields and Mitch Trubisky, and we've been begging for a quarterback for so long, and finally we get a guy who looks like he could be competent.
An actual quarterback.
It looks like he could play in the NFL at least. Like, I'm not saying Patrick Mahomes. And I've never seen a guy take so much more grief than Caleb Williams in Chicago. It's insane. Like, this guy, his rookie season is the fourth best single season passing quarterback in the Chicago Bears history. We're like, this guy sucks. I hate this guy. Get this guy out of here. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. It's crazy. And Sean, I know you showed part of a podcast from Amon-Ra St. Brown where they were talking about it. Like, even Amon-Ra St. Brown was like, this guy can just do nothing right. Every step he takes, somebody's just shitting all over him. Like, he's doing something wrong. He's
and
like,
you know what? Think about this. How does Caleb take it? He takes it on the chin. He takes it with I just a weird word, but with grace. Like he doesn't let it bother him. I really don't think it does.
I don't think he cares. I don't think he
cares. I don't think he does what he wants to do, which is so good. That's the quality you want your quarterback.
You guys, I think it bothers
noise.
Jason. I think it bothers us more than it bothers Caleb.
Oh yeah,
people come on here and just shit all over him. It's like,
you know what?
You're just making yourself look like a fool. It's just doesn't make any sense. First of all, even if you don't have all the faith in the world in Caleb Williams and you're not like super confident, you should still be rooting for him to be good. You're a Bears fan.
He's your quarterback.
You should at least be rooting for it. Like, it's not just that people don't think he's going to be good. I think people don't want him to be good, and I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me. Sean, what do you think is the Bears' offensive game plan against Minnesota on Monday?
I think it's going to be run, set up the play action, short dink and dunk, get the ball, get the operation working, because the key for me to the success of this entire season is setting up Caleb Williams to succeed. And what is that? Pound the ball, get him in third and comfortable, get him in second and comfortable, set him up in spots where if you are going to pass, it's quick anticipation throws, turn around, short outs, set up the play action, maybe see if you can pop it down to Rome, maybe DJ down the field. Honestly, I don't know that I want the Bears to take more than maybe 2 or 3 shots downfield. I kind of want to see a Tom Brady dink and dunk offense because I want that time management. I want the defense off the field. I want their defense on the field. And I think at the beginning of the year, you're going to see that run up the middle, run outside, set it up, third and short, drop it off into the flat, drop it off to Colston Loveland or Komet right over the middle. I think that will set up success for the Bears long term. And obviously, when the play breaks down, then you start throwing in that off-schedule stuff and let Caleb work his magic. But I think for me, the special sauce and the ingredients early is to get him under center, run that football, set him up in third and short, get the ball out quickly, throws where he can be effective getting it out quickly. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but that's kind of what I want to
say. Sean, that's basically, look, we have to really maybe as Bears fans temper our expectations for Caleb this year, because essentially what Ben has been telling us all preseason long is we're tearing it down to the studs, we're starting over. When you hear that, that basically means like I'm going to treat him like a rookie quarterback. We're going to start from day one, footwork, then we're going to go with, how you progress through your reads. And they're going through all of that. Now, I think it's going to help him progress maybe faster through this whole process because he already had a year starting all 17 games, by the way, in the NFL, which is not an easy thing to do, especially as a rookie who's getting sacked 7,000 times. I think this is a really good barometer for us to see how quickly he progresses. Now, by week 10, 11, 12, we're in the end of the season and Caleb Williams is still making the same stupid mistakes and he hasn't progressed anymore. That is a nightmare scenario for us. But if you see him slowly but surely every week getting slightly better, reading plays, hey, you know what? The first 4 games, he couldn't hit a deep ball. Week 5, Oh, he hit 2 deep balls. Okay. All right. Now that's a big step forward. Hey, you know what? He's hitting his drop downs. He's hitting his tight ends. He's hitting the running backs in an open field, getting, his playmakers the ball where it needs to be. That's what you want to see. If the guy can't make a play, then that's on the player. But you want to see him make those progressions slowly but surely. I mean, as a Bears fan, I want to see it doing week 1, play 1, touchdown every play. But realistically speaking, we have to, if Ben's going to treat him like a rookie quarterback, we have to expect rookie quarterback out of Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I mean, you heard Ben Johnson say before the season, they're like, what can Caleb take from last year and carry over to this season? And he was like, what time he needs to be at the hotel, like basically nothing. And you're right, Jason. I mean, they started with the fundamentals, footwork, timing, how you get in and out of the huddle, verbiage, and I expect them to be using a limited playbook week 1 or week 2, week 3, a playbook that Caleb is very, very comfortable with, the terminology, the cadence, running these plays, the audibles, and they're going to open that playbook up more and more and more as the season goes on. But I agree with Sean 100%. I mean, if you want to give this guy some confidence, let him get an easy throw into somebody like DJ Moore's hands in open space and get some yards after the catch, and then move the ball a couple of times, right? Get a couple first downs, and then the more you see Caleb open up a little bit and look more loose and relaxed, then you could start to let him be Caleb Williams a little bit. Like, hey, we like what you're doing out there. If somebody rushes you, you don't necessarily have to dirt the ball. Like, you could start running, or you could keep looking downfield and get out of the pocket. But I expect early in this game they want him to play within the structure of the offense and try to be as clean as he possibly can and make as little. The goal for the Bears this game, for me, at least one of the biggest goals for me outside of running the ball, is no negative plays, man. You can't have a ton of negative plays. We've seen the Bears do this too many times in years past, where they get a first down and then they get a holding call and all of a sudden it's 2nd and 20. Like, you can't have negative plays. And I think Ben Johnson is the best guy for the job when it comes to eliminating those mistakes. And I think the more the season goes on, the less you'll see the Bears make those rookie mistakes. And I agree with everything you said, Sean. It's all about how comfortable Caleb Williams is in this offense. And the more comfortable he becomes, the more dangerous the Chicago Bears offense becomes. And
you know what, Kyle, to your point, give me a playmaker or give me a player on the Bears that you can't get open into space that can give you a splash play. I mean,
they don't exist. Maybe Cole Kmet. I mean, Cole Kmet.
Maybe Cole Kmet.
He's probably the least
pretty damn good.
Yeah, he's a good player, but he's the least dangerous with the ball in his hand.
Yeah, and he's not speedy, right?
Sure. Like, and he's not super quick on his feet. He's not going to do some crazy jukes and spins or anything like that. But
he might run you over.
He's consistent. But yeah, Sean Colston, Loveland, Luther Burden, Rome Odunze, DJ Moore. I think you just got to get these guys in open space, a lot like what he did with Amon-Ra St. Brown, right? Like, and then once that defense is playing up, because Amon-Ra's getting so many catches and getting open space, once they start playing up, then you take your shot to Jameson Williams, a la Rome Odunze. And I don't expect to see a ton of downfield shots either, Sean. Probably maybe 2, 3, a handful, but just make them count.
Make them count. Exactly.
And like I said, guys, it's not this secondary is nothing to be. They're not intimidating. Like and Harrison Smith. I think he did practice.
Isn't he 60?
Christian Darisaw or Harrison Smith. One of them didn't practice today. I don't know which one it was, but either way, I know they're both still dealing with lingering injuries. So even if they do play, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be the same guys you watched in years past. The Bears need. I want to see them run the ball just like you guys do, but if they continue to get stopped at the line of scrimmage, no gain, 1 yard gain.
It's gonna be a long day.
At some point, you got to take advantage of this weak secondary. I mean, this secondary that gave up the 4th most yards in the NFL last year, and that Caleb made look pretty pathetic in Chicago last year against basically the same exact guys, right?
Yeah, he was.
The only thing about the Bears is
in that game, Kyle.
We just don't know. We've never seen this offensive line together, right, guys? So we don't know how much time he's going to get. How is he going to have to get the ball out of his hand and 0.2 seconds, or is he going to get 2 seconds in the pocket where you can let Rome Odunze get downfield and maybe you get some of those middling routes from DJ Moore and Colston Loveland? I don't know because
you got to feel a little bit better about the line though than last year.
So exciting, dude, because this is like, I don't know, man, this is like my 6th head coach first game at Soldier Field that I'm seeing. It was Nagy. I was there for Wanstead. I mean, like
you've been there for all of them. Trustman, Fox.
It goes back so far, and it's like I've always had optimism and everything.
Yeah, but it's always with an asterisk, right? That's what I was saying earlier. Like, I've always had this feeling like at some point during the game, the Bears are going to look like shit. I don't have that feeling.
Yeah,
I don't have that feeling.
It's
like
different.
You guys, even the drives they don't score on, I expect them to get a couple first downs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, expect them to move the ball and then put the Vikings in bad field position. In years past, I'm like, oh man, when we come out in the first drive of the game, we had a 3-and-out. I'm like, oh man, they're gonna have 4 more 3-and-outs now. Jeez, oh god, Bears, you're killing me. I just don't think Ben Johnson will let that happen. I don't think he has it in him to let that happen. I think he's going to find a way to exploit the Vikings defense in some way, shape, or form, and the Bears will eventually start moving the ball a little bit. And I don't think you're gonna have to score a ton of points in this game to win, guys. I don't think the Vikings are going to score 28 points. I think if you score 24, you're in good shape.
Yeah. Yeah. And, Jebediah said over here, defense has some nice pieces, but last year was alarming with our run defense. Sweat needs to anchor the line, carry when needed, and create time and space for the young talent to step up on the D line. I agree 100%. This is a big year for Montez Sweat. I'm not one of those people that think that he hasn't produced since he's been here. Last year he did have 5.5 sacks. He played half of have a good one, T, man. Good luck. Beat Green Bay for us, all right?
Yeah, man.
Yes, please.
The Lions better beat the Packers, man. Come on, T.
But his first year here, what did he play? 7 games, 8 games for the Bears when he after the trade, or was it 9?
Who's that?
Montez Sweat when he was traded here. Was it 9 games that he played for the Bears?
Yeah, somewhere around there, about half the season.
Yeah. He had 6.5 sacks last year. Yes, it was a disappointment at 5.5 sacks. But when we had Zach Pearson on the show the other day, he reiterated what I've been saying all off season, that no one's giving this guy any props or any credit for the injuries that he played through. He played through a wrist injury. He played through a devastating shin injury. And I've had a shin injury before. It's hard to walk when your shin is hurting. This guy's a mammoth man who uses that for his power and his burst. Not to mention the defense started falling off like flies. So many injuries. The teams planning for the Bears were triple teaming Sweat because they had no one else to stop on this team. Like, I do think with the added weapons, I also on 4starchicagosports.com, I put out an article about Montez Sweat and Jervon Dexter and how critical they are to the Chicago Bears defensive front this season. And I do think both of those guys will step up. I think you're going to see a whole new Montez Sweat this year. I just think he's going to be back, and he's even said it in his pressers, man. He's come out and said, dude, I was disappointed in my play last year. I'm excited. I'm working my tail off to be better than I've ever been. And from all reports from coaches, from polls, from everybody that you've heard, he's the first one in the building, and he's working harder than anybody in that building. So the blasphemy and all this crap about Montez Sweat, give the guy this season before you start passing judgment on him, please. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, and you know what James Christo says here, Montez Sweat is a tier 2 defensive end. Yeah, but
sure.
even if he is at the top of that tier. I mean, Montez Sweat's a very good player in the NFL. Is he a perennial first ballot Hall of Famer and Myles Garrett and Reggie White? No, he's not. And I don't think anybody ever, if you expected him to be that when he came to the Chicago Bears, you just didn't watch Montez Sweat when he was in Washington. He's not that guy. But I think that people, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think people are sleeping on the Bears defense a little bit. I don't expect the Bears defense to be a top 10 unit, but I think just based off of what happened after the loss of Jaquan Brisker and Andrew Billings, everybody expects the Bears defense to look exactly the same going into the season. Remember, guys, Billings is back, Brisker's back, and they added Grady Jarrett and Deo. I mean, this defense should be better than it was last year. And to start the season, it was a top 15 unit. So I expect them to be somewhere around 13, 14, and I think that's good enough to beat teams like the Minnesota Vikings. I do.
Illinois, I don't think it is a concern for me that he wasn't. First of all, we don't have 38 captains like we did last year, which is helpful.
Alex Brown.
There's a lot less voices. I think Kevin Byard is a leader in that defensive backfield. He just is. By all accounts, everybody on the team loves him. I think Grady Jarrett is another leader on that defensive line. We've said it 100 times. He's constantly talking to these, inner defensive linemen and teach them. That's just the type of personality he is. He was a leader on Atlanta. So I don't think it's bad at all. I think it might be better because I think sometimes the defensive end, some of your playmakers, like Jaylen Johnson, right? Are we concerned that he's not a captain? No. Sometimes playmakers are just playmakers. They don't have to necessarily be leaders. They have to maybe, set a good example, but they don't have to necessarily lead the team. So I think they picked good captains on both sides of the ball too, by the way.
Yeah, and I like what Bruce said in the comments earlier. He said losing Booker hurt. Yeah, that's another thing. People are so quick to forget that Austin Booker's on this team because he's out for the first 4 weeks. But that's another guy who his progression should make this defense better by default, right? I mean, you're talking about Javon Dexter should be better. Austin Booker should be better. The Bears expect Dale to be better than he's been in the NFL so far. Montez Sweat is healthy again. Andrew Billings is back. I mean, I'm not saying this is the best defense in the NFL, but I don't understand why all of a sudden the people are like the Bears are a bottom 5 defense. Not like I don't see it. I think there's a lot of talent on this Bears defense, and I think Dennis Allen's the right guy to put that talent all together. Now, listen, are they like a shutdown defense like the Broncos, where they're going to allow 150 passing yards and 10 points a game? No,
not yet.
They're not. But I think they'll get better as the season goes on, and I think they're going to surprise some people week 1 against the Vikings. I do. I think they're going to make JJ McCarthy uncomfortable.
Oh, that a boy, Ryan! Congratulations, buddy. How'd you win 30K? You got to tell us because I want to try that.
Yeah, Brian. Yeah, the suspense is killing me.
You don't stop with 30K.
I'm thinking bets. He's gonna be like, I bought a scratch off.
and here earlier when we said that the Bears weren't going to make a move, they did. They are working out Isaiah Foskey, the former Golden Domer, 2nd round pick, 40th overall. Work with Dennis Allen in New Orleans, and I know he hasn't lived up to his 2nd round value yet, but there was an interview with Cam Jordan just the other day where Cam Jordan was glowing about him, talked about his weaknesses, talked about his strengths, said there's still a lot that can be had in this kid. Obviously, a guy maybe comes in to the practice squad or maybe the active roster and they give him a shot. I don't know, but the Bears did work him out. Those are the kind of middling sightings I think you'll see. I honestly have given up on what's his name, Zadarius Smith. Yeah, and Clowney. I think I'm over all that. I
think it's probably the price tag, guy. I mean, obviously we don't know what they're asking for, but I think the price tag is probably just a little too steep. I'm sure they want 1 year.
It's probably scaring everybody away. From
1 year, $10 million bucks. What they want. They're in their mid 30s. I mean, the best days are behind them. I just don't know if the Bears think the risk is worth the reward when it comes to guys like that. And I understand it. And I think they expect a lot of Austin Booker. I do. I think they expect him to be very good in the NFL. So, I mean, we all know that that's one of Ryan Pohl's little poster child. I mean, he loves Austin Booker. He wants him to be good more than anybody in the world, because if he traded back in the 5th round to get this guy, if he ends up being one of the best defensive ends in the NFC, that makes Ryan Pohl look very smart. It makes him look very smart because he's a 5th round pick. But yeah, I mean, obviously, guys, it remains to be seen. And believe me, somebody in the chat there said that Grady Jarrett is not Akeem Hicks. Grady Jarrett's not even Grady Jarrett. He's 33 years old. He's not the same guy he was in Atlanta, but he certainly is a contributor. He makes this team better. He at least makes the rotation better. And like I said, to start the season off last year, the Bears weren't that bad of a defense. And, we had a couple Bears beat writers on here, guys. I don't remember which one it was, but one of them said he thinks the ceiling for this Bears defense is a top 10 unit. I'm not even willing to go that high, but I could certainly say, like I said, 13, 14, 15, and that's a good enough defense to beat the Minnesota Vikings and JJ McCarthy in week 1. I don't know what they're going to do against JJ McCarthy in week 10, 11, 12, wherever they play him next, but week 1, I think the Bears are a couple months ahead of the Vikings.
This is the perfect time to play the Minnesota Vikings.
And here, I'll be honest, too, guys, let's not forget, in 2023, Montez Sweat I believe, had 12.5 sacks. If we get
the most sacks on 2 different teams in the same year.
If we get that guy that we had in 23 back in 25, it's going to change this defense a lot. And I hate to say that. I love to say this, actually.
Same as Jaylen Johnson, Sean. If he's the 2023 Jaylen Johnson.
And if you guys go back, I dare anyone to go back to that first quarter against the Kansas City Chiefs. You look at that first drive, and you tell me that Montez Sweat was not bull rushing their starting right guard right into the pocket. He was holding Montez Sweat.
Oh,
there was no calls being made on that. There was one where he grabbed his shoulder pad and spun him around in a 360, and Montez was like, hello, what the hell? All I'm saying is people go back and look at that tape. That was what I wanted to see out of Montez Sweat. I saw it. Who knows what he's going to do against Minnesota?
Yeah, Sean, in Chicago, you expect the Bears to get those calls.
Yeah,
yes. To be holding in Chicago. That should be. They always favor the home team.
Chiefs.
They always favor. Yeah, I wasn't going to bring it up. They always favor the home team a little bit. So I expect Montez Sweat will go up to the referee at some point during the game and go, "Hey man, are you watching? What are you watching? Like, what are you watching? Keep an eye on me." And they will eventually get those calls right. But I expect Montez Sweat to be like he was in 2023. I expect Jaylen Johnson to go back because they have good coaching. And if that's the case, this Bears defense is by default better than it was last year. It's not even a question. It's not even a question because those are your two best defensive players.
Yeah.
And James, I've been the one who beat up Ryan Poles the most. I mean, his drafts have been probably 50-50 if you look at him in totality. I mean, your starting secondary was drafted by him pretty much. I mean, if you get out or your safeties were drafted by him, that's pretty huge. You're starting.
The only two guys who weren't drafted by him were Kevin Byard and Jaylen Johnson. He drafted
offense.
He drafted Jaquan Brisker. He drafted Kyler Gordon. He's drafted. I mean, obviously he signed the linebackers in free agency, but even half the defensive line. I mean, that's Ryan Poles as well. I mean, he's the one who got Montez Sweat here. Even people could talk about his drafts all you want. If at the end of the day, if I'm looking at the end result, I don't care how they got to the end result. I want to know what the end result looks like. If Dale comes here and has 10 sacks and Montez Sweat is back to his 2023 and he has 10 or 12 sacks and Javon Dexter takes that leap and becomes one of they say year 3 is when you need to establish yourself in the NFL. Javon Dexter is a very good player this year. And you guys, I don't think they're expecting a ton of Grady Jarrett. I think they expect him just to do, I don't think they expect
a nice rotational piece.
Just do your job, man. Just go out there and don't let people run by you. And I think Grady Jarrett is capable of doing that. And like I said, I don't think Andrew Billings has ever gotten enough love from anybody throughout his entire career. I absolutely love that guy, and I think he's absolutely monumental to the success of this defense. And it's tough to run around a guy who was literally the shape of a bowling ball at 350 pounds. I mean,
and I have to ask you this, James, because I am the number one critic of Ryan Poles, and I've been asked this question a million times, and you can't run from it. You have to answer it. When he arrived here in 2022, are the Bears a better team when they line up on Monday night in 2025? In 3 years, has he not made the roster better? He has. He hasn't. He has screwed up a lot.
A ton.
The left tackle position, I'm really pissed at him that we're going in another year where that is a huge question mark.
His contract signings are great, though. I mean,
he's done a lot. And he's missed a lot
on a player, but he's not spending like betting the house like Green Bay is and Micah Parsons. Like he's frugal. I
don't think you'll ever see that on a Ryan Poles, man. I really don't.
And you notice something about the Bears is you look at all these guys who went and signed all these free agents like Ryan Poles has done, because there are other GMs who are better in free agency than they are the draft. And you go look at their payroll next year or their salary cap space. A lot of them are in big trouble. Ryan Poles he's just very good with money. He's found a way to bring talent into this building. And somehow every year the Bears salary cap goes back up to being one of the top 10 in the NFL. And even next year, after signing all these guys in the offseason, signing Jonah Jackson, signing Joe Thuney, the Bears still are not like, they're not like in the negative like the Saints were for 12, 20 years. And he has added a lot of talent.
Right now.
Yeah. And next year it's going to go up. What does it go up to, Sean, next year? I think in 2027, it goes back up to like $40-50 million in available cap space. So, I mean, the contracts he's made here, I like the Jaylen Johnson contract. I didn't hate the Cole Kmet contract when he signed it. I don't hate the Joe Thuney contract. I mean, a lot of these contracts, the only one that I think that Ryan Poles got duped on a little bit is Montez Sweat, but that's because he traded a second round pick for him in a year he had an expiring contract. Right. At that point, you have no leverage. Like Montez Sweat's agent's like, well, you just traded a second round pick for him. I know you want him here. You have to re-sign him, or you look like a joke. You going to give him whatever he asked for. And I bet you Ryan Poles was like, just as long as it's not over $100 million, he can have it. And it was 98. And it landed at 98. And I think that was kind of basically
gave you one good year and one bad year. But the bad year, like we've just explained, was maybe
Matt Eberflus has a lot to do with it.
Right.
Yeah, and when we talk about, and I wish I would have done this for this right here. I'm trying to find it right now.
I like it, Jedediah. I like what he says here. He says Ryan Poles is like Jay Cutler. 1 second he does something phenomenal, and then he does something that makes me wonder how he got to the NFL.
And for James, I'm going to do this exercise for you on the next show, which I'm not going to be on for a long time. Shit. Here, how about you can do this exercise?
Well, salary cap is very important to winning a Super Bowl, James. Very important. The two go hand in hand.
Yeah, you can't just be like, "Hey, I'm going to sign everybody for $500 million. Look how good my team is." That's not how it works.
Yeah,
that's why salary cap is important.
There's a cap. Like you can't. Yeah, that's the point.
And when you look at Dexter, God, and I had this, and I was going to put this together for the show because this always comes up with this Jalen Carter versus Dexter. Is Dexter going to ever be the multiplier that Carter is? No. But I dare you to go put their stats side by side. And I had this and I've lost it. And I wish I would have put it up so I could put it up on the screen and shut everybody up. Go look at their numbers. They're almost identical for everything that Jaylen Carter does and everything that he is.
He's great.
Numbers are really, really close. And again, the Braves are up 3-1 because the bullpen just blew it for Cade Horton. Good job. I don't know. I think it was Pomeranz too. I can't see who's on the mound. Oh yeah, it is Pomeranz. Damn it. But at the same time, what did you get in his place? Can you imagine if they had to replace their left tackle and their right tackle? And the disrespect again for Darnell Wright. The numbers don't say that he wasn't a top 10 pick. He's just turned 24 years old. He was the 7th overall tackle in the entire NFL last year. When it came, I sent Kyle this thing earlier today because that guy who got that contract and I can't remember his name, the guy Gote in Tampa Bay who got signed today. Kyle, I sent you this thing earlier that said right tackle pressure percentage allowed on true drop back passes in 2024. Do you know who 5th in the league was? Your right tackle at 5.5%. The league leader was Lane Johnson, who is the best in the world at 4.4%. So you're talking about a 23-year-old who's continuing to grow and get better, who is growing into where he was drafted in the top 10 in the NFL. I don't know how to explain it. I know these guys are not sexy and you can't really see what they do, but you also have to look at Darnell Wright and say, this guy was left on an island last year while giving that 5.5% pressure in drop back situations on an island more than any other right tackle in professional football. Go look it up. It's an absolute fact. So I don't know what to say, man. Like,
and Sean,
we got right.
James
man.
James keeps saying, well, James, you're comparing Carter and Dexter. I think everybody compares them because they were drafted in the same draft and the Bears passed up on Jaylen Carter. But Sean's not saying they're the same player. I mean,
no, I'm sure he's not the most.
If you're talking about the two guys in the same sentence, then by definition, it's a comparison. So, like,
let's put it this way, James. If McCarthy turns out to be a bust, nobody's going to give a shit who he drafted or who he brought into the team.
Yeah, and
if you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a team.
Yeah, and you know what, Jason? If the Bears win a Super Bowl under Ryan Poles, nobody's going to give a shit about any of the things that people are talking about in the chat right now. Nobody's going to be like, yeah, but I know that Super Bowl was awesome, but I wish we would have done it in the draft instead of free agent. Nobody's going to give a shit. Nobody's going to care. No. As a matter of fact, Ryan Poles will never pay for a meal or drink in Chicago ever again. At any restaurant or building he walks into for the rest of his time in Chicago, he will never pay for anything ever again. Like I said, you guys, there's a million different examples you could use to make it, the point I'm trying to make. I don't care about, at the end of the day, if the end result is what I wanted, if we achieved the end result that I wanted, say a Super Bowl, winning a Super Bowl, I don't care how it happened. I don't care. I don't give a shit because I'm 37 years old and I've never seen a Super Bowl. I've never seen the Bears win a Super Bowl. So if this regimen with Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren and these guys, if they're the ones to do it, then they are going to be my favorite GM, my favorite coach, and my favorite president of football operations in big Chicago Bears history, without a question. It's not even a question.
Well, hold on, boys. We're about to throw something up here. Give me about 30 seconds. James, you stay tuned, my friend.
Look, everything we're doing is speculation, right? I mean, Poles has done some really good things. He's done some really, really bad things. The
result is the same, then no matter what. If the result, he said, good process produce good results. But if the result is a Super Bowl, if the Bears win a Super Bowl with Caleb Williams and Luther Burden and Rome, I don't care.
And if neither team wins a Super Bowl, if Minnesota doesn't win and Chicago doesn't win,
I could critique the process right now. But at the end of the day, if they win a Super Bowl, I don't give a shit about the process anymore. It's in the past, and the Bears won a fucking Super Bowl. That's what I want to say. And Justin admitted on this podcast, if he wins a Super Bowl, all will be forgiven. Justin admitted it. He came out.
I want to say thank you to Swift Sports for this, because although Jaylen Carter is a better player, I've not argued that, and I just said 5 minutes ago he's more of a multiplier than Javon Dexter. Here's your career. This is what you're looking at. I mean, or this was last year, excuse me. So, I mean, what are we doing?
Hey, answer the question. Which one is which?
Which one is which? It's a really good question, folks.
I'm gonna guess Jaylen Carter's the one with the 53 pressures. If I was betting, man. Does that sound accurate?
I'm gonna say Kyle is absolutely correct.
Yeah, but either way, I mean, this is the difference.
He had 53 pressures, but one last sack.
Yeah, you guys, then this is the difference between a first-round pick and a second-round pick, right? This is it. This is the difference. One of them has more pressures. One of them has 2 forced fumbles. But it's the numbers aren't astronomically different. And I'm not saying Jaylen Carter is better than Javon Dexter. It's not a question. It's not a question. And that's why Javon Dexter didn't get drafted in the first round. That's why, because he's not as good as Jaylen Carter. But we talked about this at the time, and I'm not going to spend another 5 hours on Brian Poles, guys, but we talked about at the time, Jaylen Carter had there were some question marks. There were some warning signs. People were talking about how his conditioning. People were talking, I mean, he was involved in an accidental death in which he was directly tied to and then lied to the NFL about it. I mean, that's not a good start for a job application, right? Like, hey.
He went to the best situation. He went to a defense that was full of Georgia Bulldogs, that was full of veterans, that was full of a team that had just gone to a Super Bowl. Like, he went to the only situation. If he had gone to the Bears, trust me, it would have been a nightmare. It would not have been.
When we talk about pressures and hurries from Montez Sweat, you negate them and say, oh, he needs to get sacks. So, but pressures and hurries here, because they benefit Carter, are
What's up, Mike?
A factor. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Pressure creates mistakes. When you're pressuring the quarterback, flushing him out of the pocket, and making him uncomfortable, doesn't matter if it's coming from up the middle, the right side, the left side. You're flushing him out of the pocket. You're making him throw off schedule, possibly create mistakes, throw an interception, do just something stupid. That's what pressure does. Pressure doesn't always equate.
Sean, just out of curiosity, who had more snaps?
Ooh, I'd have to look that up.
I bet you it's Dexter, only because he probably had to after
doesn't get enough pressure. Oh boy, you did say, Dustin, that pressure doesn't matter when it comes to Montez Sweat.
He was talking about, Bernard and Dustin both defended Deo by saying, like, when I said I didn't like the signing, they were like, well, this guy's constantly in the backfield creating pressure, even though he doesn't get the sacks. But then when it comes to Sweat and Dexter, for some reason, it's like a totally different conversation. We've talked about this in the past, guys. We've talked about this 1,000 times. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But
Dexter has double the snaps, and Dexter's also not next to Jordan Davis, and Dexter still had one more sack with all those extra pressures. That's
Dustin's saying the opposite. Dustin says Carter by a lot, like 200 snaps. What's up, Relentless Mikey? How you doing, man?
That's what I'm saying. Carter had 200 more snaps, one last sack, but 15 more pressures.
I don't know which one's right though, Sean. James says Dexter had double the snaps. Dustin says,
I'll tell you right now.
So it's somebody's got to.
I feel like we can answer this definitively.
I'm gonna find out right now.
Somewhere I think we could find it. I don't know where to look, but I'm sure we can.
Gervon Dexter had 616 snaps last year, and hold on, let me find Carter.
Well, Sean, if you really want to get into it, you also have to look at pass rush snaps, because not every time they're on the field are they asked to rush the passer. So it's also going to be
830 snaps for Jaylen Carter. Pass rush snaps were
right, Dustin.
Pass rush snaps were 541. It was fourth in the league. And when you go back to Dexter had 356. So
that's an astronomical difference. That's an
astronomical difference.
That's
and Dexter still had one more sack.
Yeah, so Dexter probably would have been the same in pressures too if you had 200 more snaps of rushing the passer. Listen, Dexter. I'm not saying Dexter Jaylen Carter. I'm by no means necessary. I think Jaylen Carter is a better player, but the Dexter is better than Bears fans.
I don't disagree with that either.
But Bears fans will always take it out on Javon Dexter that the Bears passed on Jaylen Carter. That burden will always fall on the shoulders of Javon Dexter, even though he did nothing wrong. He got drafted into the second round, and with the numbers you just put up there, Sean, he's been a pretty damn good player for a second round pick. And for some reason, Bears fans, because it wasn't Jaylen Carter and that's who they wanted, they're always going to give Javon Dexter a hard time. Always. It's never going to change. It's never going to change. But Dustin was right about the snaps. He was 100% right.
Yeah, and
Dustin has also made it quite clear that he does like Dexter a lot.
He does.
He's been in his corner.
Dexter and Billings together are a pretty good duo. I'm not going to say that they're as good as Philly's defense, but I don't know that you need to be a number one defense to win a Super Bowl.
No, they're not as good as Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. No, absolutely
but
not.
if you
That's
put
the
Jordan
best
Davis
tackle
here,
in
can
the
I ask
league.
you this question? If you put Jordan Davis next to Javon Dexter, do you think his numbers fucking go up?
I think,
yeah.
without a question.
Exactly.
Without a question, his numbers go up. I mean, if Javon Dexter's the best 3 technique in the NFL, there's a good chance Jordan Davis is the best 1 technique in the NFL.
Yeah.
Jordan Davis takes multiple people. He is a mammoth of a human being. Absolute mammoth of a human. He's huge dude. Yeah. Sean, and better coaching, better system. I mean, better talent around.
A well-established team, yeah.
And once again, this conversation was never to make a point that Javon Dexter is better than Jalen Carter. I just think Javon Dexter deserves more flowers than people like James Christo have given him. And James, I respect your opinion completely, man. I understand if you don't like Ryan Poles. I understand if you're not a huge fan of Javon Dexter. I get it, man. I get it. But at the end of the day, you got to look at the statistics. And if you do, and what Sean just said with the difference in pass rush snaps, and you look at the numbers, Javon Dexter is doing his fucking job.
I don't think you're going to use Javon Dexter as a 3 technique as much as we think. I think he might be on the end. I think he might be at 1. I mean, trust me, there's going to be usage for him all over because he's leaner now. I think he's faster. I mean, it's pretty well documented that the guy is a physical specimen now. So I don't know how all that's going to translate into statistics and notable pressures, but dude, I don't think he's going to be a 3 technique.
200 more snaps for Jalen Carter, and he only beat him by 14 pressures. I don't know how else to say it and Dexter beat him by 1 sack. I don't know what to say to people that aren't happy with the development of Javon Dexter.
Well, and Sean,
in Chicago.
Sean, you make a very good point about having help from Jordan Davis because, guys, remember, Dexter's sacks came in the beginning of the season when Andrew Billings was still on the field.
Yes,
the second Andrew Billings got hurt, Dexter looked like a completely different player. I mean, you guys, it's a team sport. These guys have to play off each other. And when it comes to Turner, James, I think that was a Dennis Allen pick. I don't think that was I don't think that was Ryan Poles admitting that he screwed up by drafting Javon Dexter. I think that Dennis Allen was like, hey, I like Turner. I think he can play multiple positions. I think he could be a 3 technique, a 1 technique, a defensive end. I like versatile guys. Can you go get me another defensive lineman so I can bolster this rotation? I think that's what that was. I don't think that was the Bears by any means necessary saying, you know what? Javon Dexter sucks. We're done with this guy. Let's go get his replacement. I think they like both of them on the field at the same time. I think that's going to ultimately be the goal.
Don't you want rotational players so you can keep your players fresh and bring them in on pass rushing downs like 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 7 and have them fresh to penetrate? I mean, it sounds like a great idea to me. I don't know.
It's such an exhaustive position at the interior defensive line that you probably need 4 or 5 on your roster, like at all times, because you have to rotate these guys in. You can't just continuously bull rush and wrestle 300-pound guys. I know the offensive line can, but they're not really trying to attack. They're just trying to push you away. You're using 100% energy, 100% of your motor on every play on the defensive line. That's why they rotate them in and out. It's a brutal position.
Hey, Erica,
James, that's not
Erica, you're good. Hold on one second. Erica, you're good to go because Kyle and I aren't talking about it, but we're feeling the exact same thing in our hearts and souls.
Yeah, well, and Sean said the same exact thing that Jed said right before the show started. The same, like he feels like he just if he wins 2 games in the series, he throws in the white towel in the 3rd game, and that's I'm getting that kind of that vibe as well. Yeah, and James, I'm not like I said, man. I totally respect your opinion. I appreciate you being here. I understand why. I understand why there's a lot of people who don't like Ryan Poles. I get it. I absolutely 100% get it, and I'm not 100% satisfied with the job that Ryan Poles has done here. I just think this is the most talent I've seen on the Bears team in a very long time. And I think this is going to be the best offense the Bears have ever had. So, and at the end of the day, whether they were drafted or not, that was Ryan Poles who did it. So I'm going to give him some leeway as well. And you guys, you hired a 36-year-old GM who's never been a GM. Like, everybody else in the world who starts a new job gets this leash because they get expected to have growing pains, but Ryan Poles doesn't. And not to mention, Sean said it 1,000 times, you guys, he took over absolutely 100% the worst roster in the NFL. Not even a question about he
overpaid,
had to burn it down.
Untalented.
Yeah, he had to burn it down and rebuild it. And I know that's not complete yet, but I like the way it's going.
It's heading in the right direction.
I like the way it's going. Yeah, you guys, let's move on to our bets for the week because
this
conversation could go on forever.
Do you want to wait and pick our winner at the end of the show, or do you want to do it now?
Oh, you can do it right now. Go ahead, Sean. What's your score? What's your score projection?
Okay,
Bruce, give us your score projection in the chat there, man, and everybody in the chat. I'd like to hear your guys' score projection for the. James, I agree with you. The Vikings GM has definitely been better, no doubt about it. But give us your guys' score projections in the chat there.
I'm going to say this isn't last year's Bears team. It's more balanced, better coach, led by a quarterback with something to prove, weapons to make it happen. And while Williams will have his up and downs in what we will consider his rookie year under Ben Johnson, I do expect growth as a passer and Ben Johnson's familiarity with Minnesota's defense and Brian Flores. This, to me, gives me Chicago the clear edge in this ball game. McCarthy making his first career start in prime time on the road. That's a tough spot for any quarterback, let alone a rookie. I think the Bears are going to pound the rock up the middle. They're going to own it. I got the Bears 24. I got the Vikings 13. And I said it on Monday. I'm going to say it again. I think the Bears early will force them into a 3rd and 7. They're going to try and do some play action bullshit. Kyler Gordon's going to read it, rip it. Bears' first touchdown of the year. Kyler Gordon pick 6 off the Michigan product, J.J. McCarthy.
Sean, if that happens, I'm going to be severely impressed. You guys, James said he's got the Bears 28-16 over the Vikings. Dustin said tune in the bare minimum tomorrow 11:30 for his score projection. Breaking news: Bruce has the Bears over the Vikings 25-17. Erica has a blowout here. Bears 31, Vikings 14. Jason, what do you got for us, man?
I'm actually closer to Erica here. I think it's going to be 35-14, and I think that last touchdown comes in garbage time for Minnesota in the fourth quarter. I think the Bears do establish their run game because I don't really think we've seen it in the preseason here. I think me personally, I think the Bears' interior defensive line wins the day in the trenches. I think the Bears' offensive line, even not being whole, actually protected Caleb pretty well in the preseason, and with a healthy Joe Tooney in there,
against some good competition too, Jason. It's not like they didn't play the Dolphins all 3 games. Like they played
Buffalo and
Chris Jones. They played Chris Jones. Illinois Jones has the Bears 31. Vikings 17. You guys, I said this earlier in the show, so I'm going to stick to it. I think this game's going to start out very slow. I think it's going to take these teams a while to get going, get these quarterbacks to get comfortable. Yeah. I think this is going to be kind of a slow going game. It's going to be first down, not first down and 70-yard touchdown. I don't think you're going to see much of that in this football game. So I have the Bears beating the Vikings 23-17. 23-17 Bears over the Vikings. Sean Jebediah says 24-18. Minnesota had 6 field goals to stay in the game, so he's got the Bears winning. Thanks, Bruce.
Maybe I go pick up Minnesota's kicker for my one league that I have a kicker in.
The general. I mean, I know we're probably all biased Bears fans, guys, but I think some people in the chat do call out Chicago sports teams when they deserve to be called out, and it looks like everybody, 100%. We do it on the show constantly, but everybody in the chat and everybody in the show has the Bears winning this game. I have it a little bit closer than some of you guys, like I said, 23-17, but everybody's got the Bears winning. And once again, I guess it's the same as the winning a Super Bowl. I don't give a shit about what happens on the field if the end result is the Bears win the game. I don't care if they win by 1.
Every game,
I don't give a shit if they win by 1.
Yeah.
You guys, Pat is joining the chat. He says he's got the Bears 24 and the Queens 20.
Attaboy.
And Erica continues to update us on how shitty the Cubs bullpen is. Thank you, Erica. We appreciate it.
Oh, God.
All right, Sean, let's get to some of these bets, man.
Taylor Rogers.
Well, you guys, anybody who hasn't given your score projection, please continue to leave them in the chat. I'll bring them up. Oh, V-Dog just put his in.
28-23. That's a close
28-23. He says both experienced offensive coordinators turned head coaches, KOC and Ben Johnson. BJ has always had O'Connell's number, but KOC is and won't nothing to sneeze at either, despite a rookie QB. I'm a little confused. So are you picking the Bears?
All I see is BJ and Cock.
No. Is he picking the? I don't know if he's picking the Bears or the V-Dog. Help us out. Are you picking the Bears or the Vikings?
Yeah, it does look like he's.
Oh, you guys, have you guys ever seen this name? Deplorable Gaming. What's going on, man? Thanks for joining the show, brother. Appreciate it. Sean, let's get a round of applause for this guy, man.
Purple Jesus, what up?
I got it.
Deplorable
Purple
Gaming,
Jesus
we
in
appreciate
the
you joining
house.
the
What
show,
up,
man.
dog?
Appreciate
That
you.
was
Got
the
the,
wrong
what
one.
do you got the Bears score at, man? Let's hear it.
And that's for you too, Purple Jesus.
Yeah, Purple Jesus has. I'm assuming he's got the Vikings 28 and the Bears 13 because he is a Vikings fan.
It does say Purple Jesus. Yeah.
I mean, Purple, you could take the Bears and just say your quarterback's not ready.
You guys,
There's no other Minnesota fans on here. Nobody's gonna tell on you.
yeah, I respect it. I respect it, Purple Jesus. I respect it. I think Purple Jesus is probably making that with hope because I don't think anybody really knows anything about JJ McCarthy at this point.
Yeah,
Horrible Gaming has 21-17 the Vikings.
Hey, you don't gotta apologize, man. Hey,
you gotta apologize. That's what you
Bears are gonna lose games, man. They're gonna lose games. If that's what you think, that's what you think, brother. Hey, gaming, deplorable gaming. You and I are very similar in score projection. I just have the Bears winning, not by a lot, though.
Hey, Kyle, since you started showing up to these home openers with me and Sean, I don't know. I think we're undefeated.
I think we are undefeated.
Oh, let's see. We beat the Niners. We beat the Bengals. We beat the Titans. Yeah, we're undefeated.
Kyle's going for 4-0.
I got you guys, man.
Yeah,
Don't worry. Have no fear. Kyle's here.
That is
Sean
true.
and I have been to some deplorable home openers, by the way.
Oh, and you know what, guys? That Tennessee game was the luckiest shit the Bears didn't win that game. Will Levis lost that game.
Oh God!
Hey, we were at the 10-7 Bears 100-year anniversary that set football back 100 years.
And real quick, guys, here's the difference for me, guys. Here's the difference for everybody in the chat. I'm not picking the Bears because I'm a Bears fan. I'm picking the Bears because if it comes down to the end of the game in a close game in which I think it's going to be, if Caleb has to win the game or JJ McCarthy has to win the game, I have more faith in Caleb than I do in JJ. Caleb has not proven anything in the NFL yet, but what he has done is 6 or 7 times last year for the Chicago Bears under Matt Eberflus with a much less talented roster and no offensive line. He brought the Bears back in the game and either tied it up or put them in a position to win 4 or 5 times. The difference now is I think Ben Johnson finishes the job.
Yeah.
Where Matt Eberflus couldn't. That's the difference for me, guys. I think if the Vikings are up 17-16 and the Bears have to run down the field and score a field goal or a touchdown, Caleb Williams and you give the Bears 4 downs on every down, I think Caleb Williams is capable of winning that game. All right, Sean. Let's do it, man.
Man, I got a few things in here. I got really lucky. I got really, really lucky on Bijan Robinson because I think that they had an error in there.
Well, thanks for texting us and letting us know, man. We appreciate it.
Well, he averaged 25
over under 15 rushing yards. So thanks, Sean.
It was over under 15 passing or receiving yards. And I was like, that has to be a mistake, but I'm going to bet it anyways.
Maybe a little bit razzle.
I got it, so I have my top bets right now that I have going on. I got Kyler Murray over 25 rushing yards at the New Orleans Saints. I got Mike Evans over 60 versus the Atlanta Falcons. He's averaged, I believe it was 87.9 yards per game in his career versus the Falcons. I also have DK Metcalf, who I think is going to have a humongous week 1. I got his prop at over 50 receiving yards. I think he's going to have 100 and a touchdown versus the New York Football Jets. I got some games against the spread, but you got any player? I'm not done yet either. I'm going to pick a lot more player props.
Yeah,
but I just haven't got through yet.
I obviously did some more research than you guys for this part of the show here. I got a bunch.
I just did 2 bets, and they're both Bears bets.
I got a bunch. I got a ton of them. So I got Nico Collins over that 60 or 76.5 yards against the Rams. I know the Rams were 9th versus receivers last year in defense, but I just think Nico Collins is one of those guys. I mean, we talked about earlier on the show, guys. Jaylen Johnson's one of the best shutdown corners in the NFL, and Nico Collins absolutely destroyed him. I just think Nico Collins is too talented. He's just too big. And you know what? That Rams secondary, they didn't do anything in the offseason. It's the same exact secondary they had last year. And I think they were helped out a lot by Jared Verse and Braden Fisk, and they made them look better. But they're going to have games where they look like who they are. And I think Nico Collins is a good guy to expose them for what they really are. They're not that great in coverage. I think Nico Collins, I think that's an easy slam dunk bet for me. Sean, do you agree with that one?
You know what, Kyle, that paid us until he got injured last year. Remember that?
Yeah, I just think Nico Collins is the
7
top
hands a
5
week. Like, 76, that's easy.
I think he's a top 5 receiver, and I think at some point the Vegas odds makers are going to start respecting him like they do Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. And you're going to start to see these over-unders
get it
the
early.
80s, 90s. But yeah, take Nico Collins over every week, and I bet you win more than you lose. Just until they adjust his overall.
Adjust it.
My second one, guy, or Jason, do you want to give one yours?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I only got the 2. I'll start off with it was a 3-leg parlay that was all Bears. It's DJ Moore to record more than or equal to 1 touchdown. Oh, by the way, before I talk about this, FanDuel's got this new option called Your Way, where you can now move the line on some of these prop bets. So you can change it up as you'd like. But DJ Moore to record more than or equal to 1 touchdown in the game. DeAndre Swift to record more than or equal to 75 rushing yards in the game. And DJ Moore to record more than or equal to 50 receiving yards in the game. A $20 bet wins you $164.44. I took it all day long.
Yeah, I mean, if you believe that DJ Moore is going to score a touchdown, that's a good bet for sure. Oh yeah, by the way, guys, that Nico Collins bet was -114, so not a ton, but you can parlay it. So I like the bet, Jason. And my second bet was individual players, Garrett Wilson over 54.5 receiving yards versus Pittsburgh. So you guys, Pittsburgh is really good against the run. I think they were 5th in the NFL last year at stopping the run. They were 11th at stopping the pass. So their defense is good in totality. It's not like that 11th against the pass is nothing to be ashamed of. But I think they're going to shut the run down against the Jets. And I think the Jets are going to be playing from behind in most of that game. So I think Garrett Wilson over 54.5 is a slam dunk. I expect him to have closer to 70, 80, 90 yards receiving. I think he's going to have like 13 or 14 targets, especially with the way that Justin Fields plays football. Do you guys agree with that? Is that one too far-fetched for you guys?
No, I can see that.
Yeah.
I think he averaged around 50 yards receiving, 54 yards receiving a game last. I think a lot of these totals that they're coming out with are really close to their averages.
Their averages. Yeah, that would make sense. I mean, that would
what else do they really have to go through statistically, though? You don't know until you start getting some data pulling in from these games.
Another one I absolutely love, guys, is the New England Patriots last year were 15th versus tight ends in terms of yardage. I like Brock Bowers over the 64.5 yards versus New England. I think Brock Bowers is the best player in Las Vegas. I think he also can play receiver and tight ends, so he's going to get more opportunities than the average tight end in the NFL. I think Brock Bowers easily gets over that 64.5 yards. I expect him to have a lot of 100-yard games this season. It wouldn't surprise me at all if the first one's against New England in week 1. I like New England. I think they're heading in the right direction.
What's his receptions over and under?
I didn't look at it. I think it was 6.5, but I'd have to look at it again.
You might want to take the over on that every day until you don't hit it.
Yeah, I mean, New England is not. Their defense is good and getting better, but they don't scare me. Like I think Brock Bowers can still have his way with them. And like we've talked about 100 times, guys, Geno Smith is a capable passer. He's not
they
like
won 10 games
the
last
worst
year
quarterback. Sean, do you know where that game's at?
Which one?
The Raiders and Patriots.
I believe here I got the schedule.
I think it's in New England.
I believe it's in New England.
All right.
But
just an interesting stat for you guys, real quick. Anybody listening in the chat?
It is in New England. This
is something I heard on Instagram the other day. It was actually on Chris Long's podcast. He said when indoors, Geno Smith's touchdown to interception ratio is 5.1 to 1 when indoors, and now he's playing in the Vegas indoor stadium. When outdoors, it's 1.2 to 1. I mean, that is 2 totally different players. 5.3 touchdowns to 1 interception indoors, 1 to 1 outdoors. That's
was Seattle a dome?
Totally different guy. No,
it's outdoors.
So I expect Geno to get better. I expect him to have a better season this year than he has in years past. Another one I like, or Jason, you want to do your second one real quick?
Yeah, I'll do my last one, and it's one that actually Sean already brought up. It's basically the Bears and the Packers. I'm sorry, Bears and the Lions I took. Bears are 1.5 dogs, and the Lions are 1.5. Or no, Bears are 1.5 favorites.
Bears are dogs. Bears are plus.
Bears are dogs. Yeah.
Bears are plus 102 on the money line. Detroit's plus.
Then Detroit's also a 2.5 dog. But anyways, I took both of them at $50. A $50 bet wins you $119.
Ron, I would love to see that card, man. I like that bet as well, guys. We talked about this. I think I just think the Lions have now become a worse matchup for the Packers than they were 2 weeks ago before they got Micah Parsons. The Lions are one of the best teams in the NFL running the ball. I think they're still going to have a good offensive line, and for some reason they get Micah Parsons, it's like all of a sudden they're Super Bowl champions. I just don't see it. Sorry. And to that point, I'm glad you brought it up, Jason, because my next bet is David Montgomery over 43.5 yards versus Green Bay.
Oh yeah,
it's minus 114. Green Bay was 15th against the run last year in terms of yardage, and David Montgomery absolutely destroyed that 43.5 in both games he played against the Packers last year. I can easily make an argument that the Packers run defense has gotten a lot worse with the recent trade they just made for Micah Parsons. I would smash David Montgomery over that 43.5 all day. And if they can't find a way to get Jahmyr Gibbs in open space, they're going to start doing that thing where they do occasionally where they just run David Montgomery in between the tackle or the guard and the center, and he just gets 4 or 5 yards per carry. If he does that 14, 15 times, he's going to absolutely destroy that over.
Montgomery should have that in the first half.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he had it in the first quarter. And then you guys, the last one, and this is the one I love the most. This is like, to me, a surefire bet. I understand Joe Flacco is old and only getting older. I understand Flacco is not.
I know where this is
going. He's not the same player he was in 2023. I get it, guys, and I'm not in no shape or form. I'm a huge fan of Joe Flacco, but Cincinnati Bengals last year were 32nd in the NFL against tight ends. As a matter of fact, guys, I believe they were in the top 5 worst defenses in the history of football against tight ends, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think
they scored points at an alarming rate and still lost like every game.
I don't think they're going to be much better against tight ends this season because they really didn't address the defense too much. I mean, they did. Obviously, they signed T. Higgins. They figured out a way to restructure Trey Hendricks's contract for this 1 year, so he's still there. But I don't think that makes the Cincinnati Bengals like one of the best defenses in the NFL all of a sudden. They got David Njoku right now, guys, at over 49.5 yards against Cincinnati. David Njoku pretty much averaged that against good teams last year. I think he easily gets over that 49.5 against Cincinnati on Sunday. I really do. And Sean, are you saying, do you disagree? Because that reaction I got when I brought up the Browns and Joe.
No, I just knew you were. We've talked about this a couple of times, so I knew you were going.
Yeah, but I mean, is that out of the realm of possibility too?
No, not at all.
David Njoku has over 50 yards. Yeah, and the Cincinnati Bengals are one of the worst teams in NFL history at stopping
defensively. Yes. Yeah.
I'll do you one better. I follow a couple of big time gamblers, and I on Monday took Cincinnati on the money line in a 6-team parlay for the first week. Well, as this week's went on, 2 of the guys that I rely on a lot for their inside information both picked their upset of the week. Cleveland to upset Cincinnati in Cleveland.
You're going to win 5 legs and lose that 6th leg.
They make me worry because their data is very thorough, and they went into how the Patriots were an absolutely atrocious team last year, and Cincinnati was able to handle. They couldn't handle them, and they lost the home opener. And then they went into historic slow starts for Cincinnati. Like, this is something that they do. They just don't get out of the gates very fast. So with that front 7, with that offensive line that we saw, Kyle, in the preseason, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying when you start connecting these dots, it just might happen.
Yeah, but Sean, if you're putting a gun to my head and you're saying, hey, Kyle, you have to make the same exact 16 bet that I made, but you get to choose whatever team you want to win. I'm sorry about those 2. I'm sure those experts are very good at what they do. I'm still not picking the Browns. I mean, to beat the Cincinnati Bengals is not going to happen. Listen, Joe Burrow addressed in the offseason that he doesn't like that they get off to such slow starts, and that's why Joe Burrow was playing in every single preseason game, guys. He's never done that before, but he asked for them to put him in the preseason games this year. Now, listen, I know the offensive line looked bad, but they also didn't have any of the other stars on the field. Like, well, you guys are putting Joe Burrow out there without T. Higgins or Jamar Chase to get him open and no Chase Brown in the backfield. He's got nobody to throw the ball to, and he's got the worst offensive line in football. It's going to be different with Jamar Chase on the football. And listen, I love Jamar Chase has said numerous times that the best corner in the NFL is Ward. That's his arch rival. He says he absolutely despises playing against him when they play Cleveland. But I just think there's too much talent on the Bengals offense, and I don't see how. What are the Browns going to average a game, guys? 14 points, 17 points.
Yeah, but that front 7
is going to be terrible.
That front 7 can get after.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a long day, and I don't think they're going to blow them out. But you got to take talent to prevail. And at the end of the day, the Bengals are a much better football team than the Browns. I actually have the Bengals over the Browns as my surefire game of the week.
Now, how
That's
about
my
this?
surefire game of the week. And the money line is if you take the Bengals over the Browns money line, it's minus 230.
So really quick too, I did take that 2-teamer with the Bears and the Lions, but I added one other team to it and got it at 50 to win 462. I added the Buffalo Bills at home plus 105 against the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, that's gonna be the killer of that parlay.
It might be,
Well,
but
it's a 50-50 game, but it's just the fact they're putting a 50-50 game in there. That's a ballsy move.
Buffalo's plus 105 at home. I'll go with Lamar Jackson when the lights shine the brightest. His light seems to dim. And, when he plays these big games against, especially on the road under the lights, I know he's not a rookie. But at the same time, I'm just going to say I like it. And, you guys all know my love for Joshua Allen. And if this game is tied or it's coming down late and they put the ball in Joshua Allen's hands, I know exactly what he's going to do. And an extremely talented defense in Baltimore. I don't want to sell them short. I think it's going to be a fantastic.
There's holes. There's holes in that defense.
There is.
They're really good. They're really good at stopping the run, and they have a couple good corners and 2 good safeties. But the other 2 corners on the Ravens can be had. It can be had.
Let me ask you guys. Let's go around the horn really quick before we get out of here. Bills, Ravens. Who you got, Jay?
I'm gonna go with the Ravens. Honestly, I think this is the year that maybe Lamar wins a third MVP. I think the team is just really, really good, and for some reason, Buffalo also can't win in the spotlight. So, all things being similar, I'm just gonna go with Baltimore. And honestly, who the hell knows? They could go either way.
I'm going to take Baltimore as well, and the only reason I'm doing that, it's like I said, you guys, this is a coin toss. But the only reason I'm taking Baltimore is because I said on Monday's show that I have Baltimore as the best regular season team in the NFL, and it wouldn't look too good if they start off 0-1. So I'll pick Baltimore just for the sake of that conversation.
I think they started 0-1 last year, and
they could start 0-1 and still win 15 games. Like they have the roster to do that. But I don't know. You know what? I hope Baltimore wins, because then if there's a revenge game in the playoffs, I hope Buffalo wins.
Bill wins. Yeah. All right. Atlanta. Tampa visiting Atlanta.
Tampa's going to win that game hands down. It's not going to be close. Look, they got good fantasy players on Atlanta, but they're still not a complete team. They lost players on their interior offense and defensive line, thankfully, to everywhere else. But 2 of them, I think, two of them are to the Bears, right? So you still have a young quarterback.
Penix Jones.
Penix still has yet to play a full season. And Tampa Bay is just a scoring machine. They're just a better team all the way around.
All right, Tampa for Jay. Kyle?
I'll take Tampa.
I'm taking Tampa too.
And Bruce has Tampa as well. Bruce took the Bills.
Bruce, you got Bills. You got the Bills and
Tampa. Yeah.
You took the Bills, right?
What?
Yes. Yeah, he took the Bills.
Okay, the Bills and Tampa Bay. I'm just going to look at a couple of
Sean, you had to do this week 1. This is the toughest week to pick.
I know, it's so hard.
You never know what to expect.
You know what? It is what it is, man. This is how we are in the Bucs.
We're all going to look like idiots.
Green Bay and Detroit.
I already said I'm taking Detroit.
I'm taking Detroit.
Yeah, same.
Kyle?
Detroit.
That's only sweet.
I love Jahmyr Gibbs in week 1, man. I'm so glad he's on my fantasy team.
Another division rival. Seahawks, Niners in Seattle.
Niners.
I'm gonna buck the consensus here, and I'm gonna go Seattle.
Okay, Kyle.
Niners.
Brucey. I know Bruce is going Niners.
Yeah, Niners.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Niners as well. So Jay is alone on that one. I'm just trying to see. I gotta get up on you guys. One more big slated game on this schedule. Let's see here. How about Chargers Chiefs? That's a big one.
That's the one I didn't want you to say. This is a coin toss, guys.
Yeah,
this is a coin toss. That is.
I'm gonna go LA.
Chiefs.
Jay's going LA. Bruce is going KC.
I'm gonna go LA too. I'm gonna
You're
go
going
Chargers.
LA.
Yeah.
I am gonna go.
Wait for it.
I'm gonna go LA. I'm gonna go LA too.
Yeah.
It's because I'm so sick of the gosh darn Chiefs.
I
now.
know, yeah.
I don't want to root for them.
Yeah, mine was a
Right.
bias pick.
Right,
Mine was
yeah.
a bias. Illinois Jones has got KC. Yeah.
Yeah.
He likes, and Illinois Jones likes Seattle, Jay.
Hey, man, they won 10 games last year. They're not a slouch. I know they got a different quarterback now, but I'm not buying that Sam Darnold's all of a sudden going to, throw 60 interceptions and can't throw a touchdown and all of a sudden suck and forget everything he learned.
I'm not saying that. I just like Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison a lot better than I like the receiving corner.
Guys, we're going to do this. This is going to be a weekly segment, our 6-pack of picks. So the last game, I'll let you guys make a decision. See, Steelers, Jets, or Houston and the Rams.
I'm taking the Steelers over the Jets.
I'm gonna take the Rams over Houston.
All right, we'll put that out. We'll put that out there. I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh as well. Jay's gonna go with. You're gonna go with Houston.
Rams over
Oh,
Houston.
you're gonna go with Rams. Okay, Rams. Bruce, which game you want? Steelers, Jets, or Texans?
I think Texas.
Texans. All right.
Oh, Bruce taking the Texans.
Why not?
And Kyle, you said Pitt. All right, we got our 6-pack of picks. We'll revisit these. It's gonna be rough, boys, because Jay and I are gone next. We're at the game on Monday. We're gone next Wednesday, and I'm gonna try and make it back for next Saturday. So Kyle will have a new companion next. Next
we
Wednesday.
could always tune in. What else are we gonna do on Wednesday night?
I'm gonna be hammered.
Not by that time.
I might check in. I might
Well, Illinois. You want to write down Illinois Jones? He's given us 6. So let's
all
write him
right,
down.
Illinois Jones. What's he got?
He's got the Texans over the Rams.
Texans. He's got the Texans.
He's got the Chiefs over the Chargers.
Okay.
He's got Seattle.
Okay.
He didn't really pick. He's got the Bills.
Got
the
Detroit,
Bills.
Green Bay. He's got the Bills.
He's got the Bills over the Ravens. He didn't really pick. I guess you could say he picked Atlanta.
Picked Atlanta. ATL. Okay.
He said Atlanta's going to surprise people, but against Tampa is a tough call. Yeah. So how many does he have there?
He's just missing Green Bay and Detroit.
Yeah, it's Illinois Jones. If you're still there, give us your Green Bay Packers, Detroit Lions prediction.
That's
Just
why.
the money
That's why
line,
you're
bro.
one of my favorites, Ron.
Just the money line, Illinois Jones. Just the money line. You don't got to pick the score.
Here,
or anything.
just for you, Ron. Here you go, buddy. There's a True Blue to 149, Caleb Williams, and I'm waiting for my Roman Dunze match, color match, maybe. Let's go.
He says
Illinois
Pack.
Jones says the Packers.
All right.
You're dead to me.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
He's coming after you now.
Illinois Jones, you are down. Anybody else want to get in? We can make this a competition. I love Mike Ross with the.
Yeah, Ron. Maybe you should wait till next week.
I mean, if Ron wants to get in, well, he's been drinking. Let's go.
I'll take the Bulls over the Bears.
Cubs over the Bears.
Well, boys, don't forget we will be back. We will be back this Saturday to review this. What was looking like a great Cubs week, but our manager threw in the white towel once again. And then we will. Don't forget Dustin and Brandon. They're going to give their preview of the game tomorrow night and their predictions and their scores. So burn some midnight oil with them. And if you can't, listen to them on the way to work. They're fun. They're entertaining while you drink your coffee. It'll be a blast. And then we'll see you guys on Saturday. Any big college games? Anybody like this weekend? I know you guys aren't the biggest.
Sean, as long as you're bringing up college, Illinois Jones says, "How about them fighting the Illini?"
I love them.
That was an ass whooping.
Yeah.
And they will play Duke at 11 a.m. on ESPN.
First time in
Saturday.
67 years they've been to Duke.
I wish it was North Carolina.
And this is the first time they've been ranked in the top 15 since 1985. So, but unlike last week, there aren't any big time matchups of ranked opponents. But if you want to thrill a minute, don't forget 2:30 on ESPN, the Border War, where hopefully Rock Chalk Jayhawk will stop a mud hole in Missouri down at Mizzou, unfortunately. I don't know how we keep having to go to that shithole and play them, but for the love of everything holy.
Like how this podcast continues to go to KU.
Rock Chalk, baby, let's go.
All right, boy, everybody, you guys are such faithful, loyal fans.
Great
now.
chat today.
It's tough to go through the entire chat, so I'm just going to say we love and appreciate all you guys, Illinois Jones and Ron and everybody else who contributed to the chat here. James Christo, we had a long conversation with him. Thank you so much. We appreciate you guys. Deplorable Gaming,
James.
welcome to the show, man. First time here, I believe. We appreciate it. Please hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. You guys all take care of yourselves so that you can take care of each other. We love you, and we will see you Saturday.
Yes.
You got one more thing to do.
Fuck Green Bay! Fuck Green Bay! Fuck Green Bay! Fuck Green Bay! Fuck Green Bay!
Fuck Green Bay! Fuck Green Bay! Fuck Green Bay! Yes, sir!
Bears.
And for the start of the season, just because of the start of the season.
Anything you want to get out there before we wrap up?
Shit. Fuck Green Bay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry. Fuck Green Bay. Let's go Lions. The Lions this week will be my second favorite team of the week. And next week, Jay and I will be in the heart of Wisconsin rooting for the Washington Redskins to beat the Packers on Thursday Night Football. Let's go.
One of these days, he's going to say Commanders. I promise.
Never. Hey, until then,
Love you, Jones. Love you.
Yep.
Peace and love, everybody.
Yep.
Stay safe.
Have a good night. Yep.